I'ma say what I feel, and I promise to keep it real. Welcome to the Rant Room. So you wanna be a writer? Well, you gotta be a writer till your fears are diminishing, the doubts are behind you. It's hard to grind in the business, got me stressed in the Rant Room. We let that shit up off our chest. You never have to guess when you're listening to Hilliard. He gon' bring more game than a shark playing billiards. It's all about the craft of screenwriting. It's exciting when you turn an outline into something enlightening. Your pen and words are like bullets in a gun. Write what you feel, say what you want. Welcome to the Rant Room. Oh yeah.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Hilliard Guest, and you guys are listening to the Screenwriters Rant Room, where we keep it real, we keep it opinionated, we keep it what, Dalila?
Game all day.
Yeah. On this show, we discuss entertainment, TV, film, music, culture, but our focus is always screenwriting, stories, craft, and shit like that. Yes, you can curse on this show.
It be going down.
For the grown folks. Super excited for this episode. Please make sure everybody go on Screenwritersrantroom.com. Get your t-shirts, get your hoodies. I got one for you. Shit like that. You know, it's only $50. It's good for you. Right. Teasing. I got one for you. So make sure you guys support the show, and we'll support you guys back. All right? So if you guys are grown, we're going to jump on in. So today, I got my sis in the building. What's this, like the 10th time you've been in here?
I ain't been counting, and that's okay. That's okay. Mm-hmm. I just enjoy every time. Stay in the present.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Dalila Ali Raja, everybody. Actor, producer, activist, all kind of, I'm forgetting something else. What else?
Writer and director. Newly director.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Super talented.
Thank you.
So thank you for sending me. What you been up to? See, you got mama in the room?
I do. I've been up to hanging with my mama. She is down here in Los Angeles hanging with us for the moment.
That's what's up.
And I'm still writing, doing stuff. I was like, with everything's happening with the industry, all the contractions and things, I was like, okay, what are all the ways I can pivot? So for people who have listened, they know that like I started adapting stuff. So I've
tell David about what you do.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I am a multi-hyphenate storyteller. So professional actor for over 20 years. Also been writing for all that time, but because folks,
she one of them scene stealer actor too. She be killing it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you for all them years where they didn't like us multi-hyphenates. I kind of wrote but didn't put it out there as much, but started doing that more. Especially since the pandemic, I was like, well, we can't do shit. Anyway, we couldn't go nowhere. Right. So I was like, well, now you can know more that I write because you ain't going to see me other places for at least when this panty going to be over. When this panty going to be over. Right. So I got some like stuff that was getting it polished, industry ready to try and go into rooms. And then everybody was like, yeah, so about that strike and about that contraction. I was like, okay, what else could these be? So I adapted one of my fantasy projects into a graphic novel. So like, finished the rewrites on that. I've got an artist now working on the original character design for some of the characters. That's so I can start shopping the pitch deck. Yasmin Joyner, who is incredible. She's an animation teacher, storyboard artist, and just incredible artist, is working on that for me.
Yasmin Joyner.
Okay. Yep. She's a professor at Cal Arts, but also an animator and a storyboard artist in her own right. Who's been doing the damn thing. And I love, I wanted a black queer woman because a lot of my stuff is black and queer and magic-y, and there's lots of fairies and things like that in it.
That's up your alley, ain't it?
Right. Exactly.
So all the stuff that I love. So I've been doing that. So it's been in the process. She's been sending me sketches and then giving notes and stuff so that we can get that part together. And then my children's book, I've been querying both of them on the manuscripts, but still working to get the art together and stuff like that. And auditioning like usual and kind of actually just filling the well too. In this time, just there's so much quagmire. And I think for the longest time, people kept asking well, how are you feeling? What's going on? How are you doing? And I just get, well, hanging in there, because that's what it felt like. I was it felt like insanity land. But then after a while, I guess something finally shifted. And I'm going to age myself a little bit. Anybody remember Trapper Keepers?
Of course.
Back in the day. Okay. You remember there used to be one, they had posters too with the little kitten. And it's it had that one little claw hanging from that limb, talking about hanging in there. And I was like, I need to not be that bitch anymore. She cute and all, but one claw hanging from a limb. And she out there all by herself, looking cute, hanging on the limb. I was like, I got to find a new mantra. I was like, I got to find a new one. So I've been shifting energy too. So not just pivoting physically or artistically, but okay, how do I want to take this on? Because the quagmire, the fascism, and the crazy aren't going anywhere right now.
Right.
But the way that I hold it can start to have a shift, so that I'm not just fuzzy and cute on a limb. You know,
I like it. That's what's up. That's
Step into that space.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna bring in my man. We know him for a little while.
Wow.
Been talking about having you on the show for a couple of years.
Hey man, listen.
I go, it's been a long time since I left you.
without a beat to step to.
Right.
Exactly. My man, J. David Shanks in the building.
I am here, and I am happy to be here.
Yes, indeed.
And thank you for having me, brother.
Writer, executive producer, showrunner, creator, all around pimp dog, actor, all kind of stuff.
You just be doing big things.
I know, out there killing game.
Chi-Town in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah. Chicago cat.
All right.
day.
All right.
Yeah.
My daddy spent from later high school, college, Southside Chicago, and my grandmother.
The formative years. There we go.
Yes,
That's what's up.
65th and
Okay,
South
right.
Cornell. So it's
Okay, yeah.
South Carolina for all the youth, and then they moved into the heart of the South Side.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's what I tell people all the time.
Right.
You know, everybody from Chicago is from down south. You know, my
The Great
grandma
Migration.
Cortland, Alabama. Grandfather, Panama City. You know.
I was born in the D.
Okay, yeah.
So, I don't remember the motherfucker, but I was Yeah, then we moved to Brooklyn when I was like 2, something like that. My dad was a military dude.
Yeah.
So we were moving around. Then we ended up in the Bay when I was 7.
Okay.
So I just claimed the Bay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't remember nothing else.
I'm a North Cali girl too. So.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm super excited to have you, D. Indeed. I call him D like that's my cousin.
Because we are, right?
You might be cousins.
we are,
don't
right.
know. We don't know.
Exactly.
That's what I say,
Exactly.
all black folks.
Nah,
right.
dude, you're one of the people. Here's one thing I like about you. We're gonna jump into you in a minute.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I like about David, and you know this. We talk about this a lot. I love consistency. Right. So you know me. We've been knowing each other for a long time. Every time I see Delilah, she's the same person.
Right.
Same beautiful spirit.
Right.
Same bubbly energy.
Yeah.
Super smart. She ain't even gave it to you yet.
Right.
You know, just really, really, really bright. Oh, I always love having you on the mic because she makes me look good. And I love having a strong black woman on the mic.
Right.
He's. I'm gonna send him his check later.
But what I like about you, David, every time I see you, you're the same cat.
Oh, man.
Same dude. Just always respectful. Everybody has nothing but good stuff to say about you.
Wow.
And the dude can write and act and direct his butt off. You know what I mean? So it's like all that stuff is the and right. You know, I said right. Yeah. One of them hyphenates.
I for me, at least, I've been through enough, I think, just in the journey to get to a place where, you know, it's just really about stability. I'm extremely comfortable in my skin now.
I love that.
And I think when you come from, you know, places like Chicago and, you know, the South Side in particular, and then you come out, you know, here to chase, you know, a dream amongst all of the other, you know, dreamers chasing dreams. You need that foundation. You know, you need to have your feet planted, you know, in something before you get here, you know, best case scenario. And for me, you know, like I said, just having that walk, man, and being able to, you know, be that and be grounded in that. You know, I want to show up and be consistent. I want to show up and be the same dude every rep.
What was the beginning of your storytelling journey? Like you're from Chicago. Did you start?
Yeah, were you an actor first, or what were you doing?
Like what lit that fire, and then what did you add as kindling and feed it?
My father, God rest his soul, we lost him during COVID. But my dad was everything. He was a black man of the 60s, product of the 60s, product of the Robert Taylor homes. He was a project cat. And I can sum him up like this. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I always hung with cats that were older than me. I call myself, you know, trying to, you know, get out in the street and learn the game. And I'm learning to shoot dice. With,
He's a vice lord.
Yeah,
we get the videotape.
No.
He's like, don't get me in trouble. He's like, I gotta go back to the south side sometimes too. He said, don't be doing it. Don't be doing it.
I'm only teasing.
No. But to that point though, Hill, I mean, like my father could walk amongst everybody. Jeff Fort and the Blackstones, Mr. Hoover and the Disciples. My father had a foot in all of those camps and was respected.
He was a diplomat.
He was a diplomat. You know, he was that dude. But back to me attempting to learn to shoot dice, he caught me
Oh.
And I didn't even see him coming. And all I remember is laying on my back and opening my eyes, and I couldn't breathe because he had punched me in the chest and knocked the wind out of me.
Shit.
Right? Yeah, my dad was that dude.
I like him.
So what he said to me when he got me back to the house was, I do what I do so you don't have to, right? Let me get in the street. Let me hustle. Let me do what I do because I don't want you anywhere near this, David.
Oh, somebody gave him a call. They saw you on the street.
Absolutely.
They were like,
absolutely.
But that's back when you could.
Yeah, come
that's
get
back,
him.
yeah.
He out here,
some folks that still do.
Yeah, that was the neighborhood I came from. You know, if you was, into something you ain't had no business being, and Miss Jackson saw you, it got back to my mama and Eddie quick. So, but my father was that guy. He pimped. He sold dope. He was deep in the streets. He hustled. My mother had a consistent job, Blue Cross, Blue Shield. She got a gig right out of high school, filing papers, and moved her way up. But he, basically,
income.
yeah, absolutely. Everything else, came, from Pop. Right. So I say that to say it was that. I wasn't a child that was shielded from stuff. My father exposed me to a lot.
Interesting.
So I kind of became like a sponge, especially like with his adventures.
So you wouldn't get caught up. He's like,
I'm
going to show you so you don't get caught up.
I'm going to give you this game so, when you really get out here, you know how to navigate.
It's like living vicariously through through seeing them. Like you don't have to because you see the stories or hear the stories from them. Yeah.
My mother and father, they had me when they were very young. My mother was 17. My father had just turned 16.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And he tells the story of how when he picked me up from the hospital, he came to get my mother. He had me, they got into the back of a cab. My father was holding me. He said, the cab driver looked up in the rearview mirror and said, "Is that your son?" Baby face, my father. Right. He was like, "Yeah, this is my little man." And he said, "Wow, that's beautiful. Y'all are going to grow up together."
Wow.
And it hit my father like a shot, but it hit me like later when he was telling me the story. He was like, he was a boy.
Yeah.
And he was literally just trying to figure life out on his own. So he was a dad to me, but he was also a big brother.
Yeah.
And that's a weird, line. And I never got it twisted. Like I always knew he was my daddy. I knew that. You know what I mean? He made sure that I knew that. But he also instilled in me that sense of, you don't have to hide nothing from me, man. You can talk to me. We can rap. And we got to a point kind of like as I was kind of going through it and I'm forming my opinions about stuff. And my father, like I said, was a street cat. And I'm looking at him because my mother gets up and goes to a job every single day. And there's a discipline, in that. Yeah. And my father went through these bouts of, just life struggles, black man struggles in America. Sure. And me and my immaturity and inexperience and uninformed mind formed decisions about what my dad was doing and passed judgment. So there was a period of time, where I was like, you know what, man, I can't even really rock with you because I'm watching my mother, but I'm watching you. You know what I mean? And he told me just flatly and very simply, David, keep on living. Just keep on living. And he was right.
Maturity will circle that back around.
Because he was like, because at some point, you're going to find yourself in these very situations and in these very spaces that I'm navigating now.
Shit can be real black and white until you have enough experience to realize all the gray.
Exactly. Exactly. And it was, I think, through that kind of lens that I said, I know I'm a storyteller. I went to Whitney Young High School in Chicago. So that's...
what was that school like? What's the comparison? Is that like some lean on me type of shit? Or is that different?
No. College prep. Michelle Obama was a graduate of Whitney Young. All right. I went to school with, now we didn't have money, but I went to school with Reverend Jackson's kids, high school. So like you had black kids from all over the city, but a lot of these kids, people had money and had a little bit of influence. And, it was a college prep, but a good school, straight college sort of trajectory. Doctors, lawyers. I knew I wasn't that. I just knew it. You know what I mean? I the idea of crunching numbers or sitting in a cubicle or you know what I mean? Like I knew very early it broke me out. Right. So I just knew that. But I also knew that I would have to go to school. I would have to figure out something. So I floundered for a little while, just trying to figure out my way. I got a scholarship to go to Florida A&M University. Army ROT, FAMU, dude,
FAMU,
Rat Loose,
yes,
right,
HBCU over here,
Okay,
yes.
that's what's up.
Yep,
I love it. HBCU bound, I just knew that, from go. My parents, no college background, so they couldn't even really help me with that part of the journey. Right. Son, we can get you there, but, after that, you're figuring, exactly. My mom and them dropped me off, gave me $40.
Oh, shit.
You was rolling.
$40, hugged me, and said, "We love you, and we're
luck,
gonna
God
pray.
be with you.
We're gonna pray for you
for the semester." Look,
yeah, $40, and we praying, and that's what it was. Yeah. But I went through a lot, in that space. Pledged as a freshman, had no business doing that.
Wow,
that's a choice. Which
I pledged Alpha.
Oh, okay. My granddaddy was an Alpha. My mama's daddy.
A good man. But just wanting to just jump out there and be grown. You know what I mean? And, I'm going to do this. And I made a bunch of mistakes and ended up losing my scholarship. Ended up having to go into the military.
Oh, that's why you went to, okay.
Yeah, so I ended up in the Army after screwing up my 4-year ride to FAMU. Army ROTC scholarship. They put it to me like this. They were like, okay, academic probation, we're going to give you a semester to get it together. Of course, I didn't get it together. And they said, you have 3 choices. You can pay back the money that we've spent for the 3 years of this room, board, tuition that we've been lowering, for you.
Wow.
You can come on.
It's like a record company.
Oh, man, listen. Right. They hook you up, and
Sally Mae, bitch.
You can come on to active duty as a private, or we can sue you and just really screw your life up.
Wow. We can sue you. That's how we want to spend our dollars.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wow. The 20-year-old. We're going to sue the 20-year-old. Wow. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Sam.
Ooh, damn.
But here's the thing. I created that mess, and my father was like, look, man, you in this situation, you have to make the best of whatever that's going to be. Right? So I went into the service, and I had enough hours to go to the officers candidate school.
Oh, well, okay.
So I went to school to be a lieutenant and then move into the Army, but I just did it the other way, right? I did all of the cool stuff, Hill. I was airborne. I went to Ranger school.
Okay. That's right, you was a Ranger.
I was a special ops dude. Yeah. I did
it ain't
all
too
of
many
that
brothers.
Stuff.
Well, back then.
Well, they tell you that, the reason that it's not a lot of us, in it is because we can't swim, which is complete
Which is bullshit.
stupidity.
They wouldn't
ridiculous.
let them. My daddy was Air Force, and he wanted to be
My
a
dad
pilot.
was in the Navy,
and
so
they
wouldn't
let him be a pilot. That's what he wanted. He wanted to be an engineer and a pilot. He ended up going to law school, but he went into the Air Force for that, and they would, as a black man in the 50s and 60s, they would not let him become a pilot.
Wow. Yeah. So once I'm in that space and I got commissioned, the Army was okay, but I quickly realized that, once again, kind of circling back to this artist piece, right? There was nothing in there that really fed that. And I also think that sometimes, you get into a space where, you're making a little bit of money, you have a quote unquote career, right? But I think God sometimes has to push you out of certain situations so that you can really step into the spaces that you need to be in. Yeah. Mine kind of came in a really interesting way. I put in a 3-day pass to go to the Million Man March.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay, yeah.
How about this?
Yeah.
My commander told me, Lieutenant, the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, does not sanction the Million Man March.
Damn.
If your soldiers, your subordinates want to go to the Million Man March, by all means,
the people under you can go.
Sign their passes and let them go.
Wow.
You, my friend, are middle management.
Wow.
You are making a career.
This might be an interesting movie.
You are making a career jeopardizing decision by even entertaining this. I didn't go.
Oh, I went.
And as you should have, and I'm kicking myself in the behind because I didn't go, right? So how about this? About a month after that, I hadn't finished my undergraduate work. I made the request, will you let me go and be an instructor at an HBCU as a ROTC instructor, ROTC instructor, right? That way I can kill 2 birds with one stone.
Recruiting
I'm still in the military. I can bring folks in, but I can also take classes and finish my undergraduate work.
Oh, that's smart.
Because the way, exactly. Because the way it works, I wouldn't have been able to make field grade. So major, lieutenant colonel. So this career
without your
that
actual
I think
degree.
without an actual degree.
See, that's how they get us.
That's how they get you.
Yeah,
exactly. So they said no. And I said, okay, no problem. No problem. I will bet on me.
I love obstacles. I love that you're
I will bet on me because James Jr., my daddy, the consummate hustler, was like, if you tell me no, I'm going to figure out how to get it on my own. Okay. I turned in my resignation. So I left the military, no degree.
Wow.
I had a son at this particular point in time, right? My oldest boy. And I go back to Chicago. No degree, no job.
Wow.
And I have to move in with my aunt to kind of get back on my feet, right?
Start all over again.
Wow. Here's what I did. They offered the fire department's exam in Chicago, and they offered the Chicago Police Department exam.
That's right. Yeah.
I took both exams.
Okay.
And I was hired. I started the academy actually the day after I got married.
Okay.
Right? I think black men have it mixed up so much in this regard. I digress for just a second.
Don't digress. It's good. No, I'm saying share. I want to hear the story.
We love these stories.
I told, for a long time, I told my now wife of 27 years, baby, I don't want us to jump out here, get married. I ain't got no job. I don't know how I'm going to take care of me, this boy, now and you. How do I do that? Let me get myself together first.
She's like, we're our foundation.
Absolutely. And then we can move forward. But what I didn't realize was the best decision that I ever made was marrying Tiffany. That was the best decision that I could have made.
That's cute.
Right? FAMU and marrying Tiffany. The two greatest decisions of my life because they informed everything else. And to your point, they laid the foundation for everything else. I felt like leaving FAM was like this huge failure, for me. And I also feel like I got unfinished business on that campus. Okay. So I think there's a doctorate, somewhere waiting for me back in Tallahassee.
But see, this goes to, let me just interrupt you right quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Ben has ever done this with you, Ben Watkins, but when he interviews people a lot, he asks people what's their who's their nemesis.
I was like, I knew the nemesis
and
question.
This sounds like this is still your nemesis. Like there's still that thing. It's like unfinished, like something you got to do that's still driving you. It's almost like your ex-girlfriend told you years ago you ain't never gonna be shit. Yeah. And you end up going, well, fuck that. Well, I'm gonna show her. Yeah. Whatever.
It feels like the power structures are more that than anything else.
And to that point, mine is Captain Donald Harrison.
Okay.
Because that's the man who kicked me out of FAM and, snatched my scholarship. That had never happened before. Like they would threaten people with, we're going to take your scholarship and we're going to bring. Yeah, exactly.
He could have made
like he could have said, look,
having
man,
a bad day. What was wrong
I don't know
with
what
that
I don't know what it was, but here's the thing: that dude did me the biggest favor ever.
See, now we're going into what his father was saying. You're going to understand it later.
You'll understand it later.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got my commission. I went to Ranger School. I came back to FAMU and went to the same ROTC department that had kicked me out for all intents and purposes. And I spoke to some of the cadets, some of the students. Right. And I explained to them what happened to me, sort of like as a cautionary, tale. Sure. But I found Captain Harrison.
Oh.
Really?
Right. I found him. And I went to him. And
he's still there.
He's still there. Well,
at the time.
He's still there at the time. And I go back. And I told him and he turned and he saw me and he was like, I've been hearing about you. Like he heard that I had went to OCS. He heard that I had got a Ranger tab. He heard that I had done like all of these things. And he said, I always knew that it was in you. Right. And me, still kind of, immature, I went back to the, I'm going to show you, piece of it. But the second that he said, I knew it was in you, all of that went away. And I felt like that dude actually did you a favor, Shanks. Wow. You know what I mean? Because what he forced me to do was grow up.
Man up.
Yeah, man up.
This keep your thought. This reminds me, I was in remember they used to have the Cosby Fellowship back in the day?
Yeah.
I was in like 2006 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had David Wyatt. You remember David Wyatt? David Wyatt was the instructor. And I'm one of those people, I'm always sitting in the front row. You always see me in events. And like, I'm the person that ain't afraid to raise my hand. I just know a lot of stuff. Yeah. Like I've been in the industry since I was 12 years old. Yeah. Right. So when it came to like you submit your script or whatever, so the first script you're gonna rewrite is like you're gonna fix your old script, you're gonna write a new script. So he was like, so today's Monday, you're gonna go first. I want your outline on Wednesday.
Wow.
Like, everybody had a week or two.
Right.
And he would do this with me every single. Your script's due. You got 4 days. Like all that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So when it was over, and I saw him at the Guild, he was like, I told you. I knew you were going to be the one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I knew it, right? So it was like one of those things. I was like, oh, he was testing me.
Yeah.
But what he made me do was realize that I could now.
Yeah.
So now I give myself those challenges.
Yeah.
And so my deadlines, and I treat it like I got to turn this into Spielberg tomorrow.
Yep.
I got 3 days.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the level has got to be tight.
Put the coffee pot on.
Yeah. So that just reminded me of that story.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, it's crazy the things that people see in you that you don't necessarily see in yourself. And I've always thought, that was really, pretty, crazy, just that kind of, thinking. But I leave the military and I go back to Chicago, no job, no degree, and now I have
a baby. How old
baby.
was he?
He was 5, at the time. So I go back, and there's that. And it wasn't that I wanted to be a cop or wanted to do any of that. In fact, I come from a family of, let's just say, I got a lot of uncles that are hustlers, right? So the last thing, that I really wanted to do was do that.
Become a popo.
Exactly. Crazy story. They run my background check, right?
They see that last name, right?
Right. So I'm James David Shanks. My father is James Edward Shanks Jr.
Okay.
So a lot of my dad's stuff, in the police department's infinite wisdom, they automatically felt like, this, what is this bank fraud? The type, situation. No, dude, that's not me. Look at the dates on that, man. I was 6. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
What do you think I was doing?
You know what I mean? Exactly.
I'm a genius, but I'm not that kind of genius.
It's crazy. Yeah. But the police department was a job that would pay me enough to take care of myself. You get them good. It's a good city job, insurance, benefits, the whole nine of all of that. So I took the job, on the police department. I did 6 years. I taught at the academy. I worked as a gang cop for a while. I was on a citywide rapid response team. So kind of like fires would pop up in the city, they would dispatch us to go and do. Yes, they want to send people. And here's what I really dug about the police department, I kind of dug it but hated it at the same time. Black man comes out of a liquor store, brown paper bag that's a little sweaty. It's a 40 ounce inside. He's kind of dirty, grimy, construction hat on, boots. Clearly, this brother has been somewhere working all day, right? And in this bag is a reward for him, right? For the hard day's labor. And he cracks the seal on this thing and he takes a sip of this refreshing brew for him, right?
Right.
What am I supposed to do, Officer Shanks? You're supposed to cite him or either, you know what I mean, for drinking on the public way.
Oh, okay, got it.
Let me flip it. Grant Park, in front of that obnoxious jelly bean, Millennium Park, that obnoxious jelly bean that costs millions of dollars while they close schools on the south and west sides of the city, right? But you got money for this jelly bean, right? You can find the money for that, but we can't pay the teachers and keep the schools open. Yep. I digress. It's a white man sitting on the grass, blanket, grapes, cheese. What is it? The charcuterie?
Yes.
I can't spell it. Can barely say it.
Charcuterie board.
Right, there it is. The bougie board with the cheese and grapes and crackers and all of that, right? And in their little picnic basket, is a nice Merlot, a nice, you know what I mean, a nice Chablis, right? Yeah. And he's pouring a glass, for his lady in the park, and they're drinking in the park
and
enjoying this beautiful summer day or spring day in Chicago. What is that?
The same.
That's the exact same thing. And you're supposed to let that go. So I have my issues and problems with being a black man on the police department in Chicago, just off rip. Everybody that I put handcuffs on looked just like me.
Wow.
And I ran into people who knew my father. Come on, little Shanks, you're not gonna do this to me, man. Come on, man. I know your daddy. You know what I mean? I would run into that a lot.
Right.
And there was a guilt that I sort of carried with that piece of it all.
Yeah.
But here's the conflict. We had just bought a house.
You take care of your family.
I can take care of my family. I can put my boy in private school because the public school isn't the greatest. No fault of the teachers, but just no money, no resources are poured, into our spaces for our babies. Right? That's an issue. Right. So I'm doing this thing, but I'm doing it, from a conflicted space.
Yeah.
Let me fast forward to when I left the police department. My partner, shout out to Tommy Harrison Jr., who is literally the world's strongest cop. Literally. Hill, I'm going to shoot you his information. Okay. I want you to look Tommy up, Big Tommy. Cool. Everybody in the city knows him. But long story short, Tommy and I get a call. It's a domestic battery. Okay. Couple fighting, 3rd floor apartment. We fly over there. We get there. I look up and I'm like, man, it's the 3rd floor. So we hustle up the 3rd floor. Little man comes running to the top of the stairs. This baby couldn't have been any more. He couldn't have been 2. He probably just learning how to walk. So he kind of waddles out, his little diaper, right? No shoes. I scoop little man up and I can hear them fighting at the end of the hallway. Okay. So Tommy and I go to the end of the hallway and this dude, as we walk in, is banging this sister's head off of a hardwood floor. It looked like a basketball.
Damn. Oh, God.
Bouncing up and down. Put little man down. Tommy and I wrestle this dude off of her. We put handcuffs on dude. We snatch him up. He gets a couple of attitude adjustments as we move him to the door, right? And as we're walking out the door, the sister says, "Oh boy, wait a minute.
I knew it. I
don't want him to go.
I knew it.
I didn't call you all. I didn't call the police. And if you have me come to court, I'm not going to show up. I'm not pressing charges."
Jesus Christ. I
said, look, lady, we saw what he was doing to you.
But you don't see what's going to happen once y'all ain't there no more.
You have nothing to do with this right now. Whatever you want to do after that, but dude right now is going with us. Right. So we get him to those stairs that we came up, and as we're going down the stairs, here she comes out of the apartment, jumps on Tommy's back, and now the 4 of us, he's handcuffed now, go tumbling down these stairs. We get to that landing, you know what I mean, where you're going to make the turn. Yeah. And now I got to grab her.
Piled up on each other. Right?
Piled up on each other.
And the baby's still at the top and could fall down the fucking stairs.
Well, our sergeant had come at that point because we knew she was going to act a fool. So we called the sergeant. Another unit had come. They took care of little man who was taken to child services, the DCFS, which is
also terrible and scary. Absolutely. It's like you don't know, once you open that Pandora's box of law enforcement, unfortunately,
speak on that.
It's like the ripples. You don't know what's going to happen to anybody involved as Black folks in our country.
Absolutely.
In specific.
Absolutely. So I put handcuffs on her, and now we take both of them. They both end up going to jail. And after we did the paperwork, I get back in the car, and when I tell y'all, I'm pissed. I'm not built for any of this. I'm not. Yeah. And at the time, Hill, this is in the bench days. I was easy 315 on the bench. Yeah, bro, I'm probably about maybe 20 pounds lighter. Okay.
You're still solid.
Y'all gym heads. I don't even know what y'all talking about. It took me a minute to catch up. I was like, the bench, the 350. What? Oh, they're talking weights. Right. Got it.
But I'm in the car and I'm livid. Yeah. And Tommy is kind of laughing and chuckling. He's like, "Dog, what's all this?" I said, I can't keep doing this. He said, "You tripping, man. This is Wednesday. I mean, this is just what it is." Right. I mean,
this you want a burger?
Right. Exactly. And I said, "Dog,
I'm done.
I can't do this anymore." We were about 6 years. I was about 6 years on the job at that point. 5.5, maybe 6.
You've seen it all.
We had seen everything at that point, right? And Tommy said, "Well, if you don't want to do this, what is it that you want to do? Like, what's the thing that really,
How old are you about this time now?
What am I at this time? I don't know, maybe 35.
Oh, wow.
34.
So it was later
35.
in your life that you really switched over.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting that he had the. I mean, I don't know you, Tommy, if you're listening, but like to be the type of person that can hold that, but that can actually hold those questions, because what happens is a lot of people within those dynamics, the way that they wrestle with and make peace with it is by shutting down the possibilities of anything else for them and anyone else, right?
Sure.
Yes.
So there's a very different type of internal thing that's going on with somebody that can hold, that I can accept this, also hold with grace and lack of judgment. Oh, you can't hold this. Got you. I still want you to be okay. So I'm going to ask you the questions that can get you to where you need to be so that you're okay on the other side of it, instead of telling you just need to stick this out for your pension, which is what most men would have told him.
Yeah. And to take it a step further, Tommy was the dude who, because in that moment, I made the decision. I said, you know what? He's absolutely right. We worked midnights. That morning.
Night shift.
Oh, man, it was ridiculous. 11 to 7 or midnight to 8. Right. So we get off after we processed our couple. And I went down to Columbia College, downtown Chicago, and I applied, was accepted, and enrolled as a theater major with a minor in playwriting.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
I had said to myself, especially like when I got out of the Army, I fell into like the independent film space on the actor track when I got out of the Army. But it was more so, it fed the need to express that way.
Sure.
While I, tried to figure out what I was going to do to earn money to take care of my family. Right. So I had some balance. Like I had something to look forward to in the craziness of, being a police officer. I had even written and produced, a short film, connected with some of the Columbia kids in the film department, a couple of aspiring directors, who I shot a piece on film. We got into, we got a film in the Martha's Vineyard. So I felt fulfilled in that way, but wasn't completely ready to sever ties with the plantation day job of the police department.
A steady paycheck.
Yep, you know what I mean? The steady check. So I when I go down to Columbia, George Tillman and Bob Title, Columbia alum, they came and they spoke to the class.
I was texting with Marcia this morning.
Oh, that's my homie.
Literally just texted with her this morning. Go on.
I think our kids don't know it yet, but my daughter and
plotting
and
their betrothal.
We're plotting. We're plotting. Marcia and I, we're right there. Like we're plotting. They came, they spoke, Bob and George, and they said, listen, we're getting ready to do this movie in Chicago, and it's called Barbershop, and we want to use, Columbia students to crew, whatever, however. And at the time, I was really trying to hustle on this audition page. And I said, you know what? I'm auditioning for this movie. I am in the car, the police car, midnights,
hilarious,
running lines with Tommy, with Big Tommy, right?
And
Tommy,
Big Tommy.
And Tommy is like, no, dog, that's not quite it, man. Let's try it again. Let's take it back. And we would, and
he's like, I didn't believe that.
Right. He's like, I'm an acting coach now.
Exactly. And Tommy was like, and Tommy said, look, dog, man, you got to go in there right. So now he's been with me on the journey, the whole rip, like all of the independent stuff, some stage plays, Tommy's been with me. So finally the day of the audition comes, Tim Story directed, Sharon King was doing the Chicago casting. And I said, I'm going in here and I'm going to get this part. So what I did was, I think like most actors did, right? But you know what though, Hill?
I hope I get it.
I really felt like I'm going to do everything that I can to land this part. Right. And not only that, like I'm going to take every reason away for them to say no.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Bruh, I read the sides. I figured out who this dude was. I figured out what he looked like. I figured out how he walked. I knew his backstory. I knew why he needed this job, that he was, trying to hustle up in the whole nine, all of that. So I went completely in character. So I parked and then put the rest of my little outfit on, you know, and got me some little crazy glasses and like taped them in the middle and I'm walking down Ohio Street in Chicago to the casting office, right? And people were looking at me like, what is wrong with this dude? If y'all would have seen me in them high water pants and them crazy shit, I mean, just went in there like, didn't say a word to anybody. I think the casting associate came out and said, David, you're next. And maybe the only thing that I did that wasn't completely in character was sign in and ask her where, you know, she needed me, you know, to be, right? And post up. I walked into the room completely in character, did the sides. I think it was like 2 scenes, did the 2 scenes, didn't even say goodbye to anybody because I just left in character.
Like I'm in character.
Right? Completely in character, right? Leave. And didn't hear anything for like a month, 2 months.
Oh, wow.
3 months go by. No, this is Bob and George's film. 3 months go by. So this is a major motion picture. And I was like, I guess it didn't work out. On to the next. Because I've always sort of been able to kind of do that with auditions as well, which I think fortunately for me, do it, forget about it.
I think that's what we all have to. Either your name is on or your name is not.
Exactly. Exactly. What's for you is for you. And on my birthday, I get a call from my agent. And they said, you got a call back for that movie, Barbershop. And I was like, what? That was months ago. Really? I'm still in the... They said, yeah. And I went to the callback. I did the exact same thing. About 2 weeks go by, I get a call that I got the part. I'm at work. You know, like, right? You know, like I said, I think we were working the afternoons, that particular like cycle, but I got the call, got the part. Day 1, I'm supposed to be, you know, on set. Call time, I think, was 6. I'm still working midnights. Right, so I
you had to go straight there.
Well, yeah. So exactly. So I took time off on the front end. Like when you work overtime, you can either stack your time or you can get paid. But I would stack my hours sometimes. Tommy, lights and sirens, flying across 79th Street to get me to set.
Oh my goodness!
We roll up on set, past the breakfast wagon, past, you know, like all
base
of the
camp,
base camp, right. Big Tommy.
I mean, we flying, right? So he gets me there, and we skid up in front of this, maybe one of the PAs, and was like, "Where's the AD?" And now the PA is like, "Oh my God, what did she do?" You know what I mean? So we find the AD, and the AD is like, "Your trailer's down there, you know, down the street, Big Tommy." So we slide up to the trailer. I jump out, and when I jump out, I'm still in uniform.
Wow.
Bob Title was coming across the thing. He was like, "Oh my God, what the hell?" Like, you know, like the police are here. And then he looked.
Didn't even recognize.
Right, didn't even recognize. And then he looked, and he was like, "Oh my God, this dude he's the police." Like they didn't know. Like so, I run in, I get changed. You know, we do the scene, and I think I worked for like maybe 3 or 4 days or something like that on like my sequences.
Right.
But that experience was so liberating, and it really made me, I almost feel like it was God's way of saying, this is the lane you're supposed to be in, son.
Yeah,
because I'm moving all the barriers out of the way.
Moving all of the barriers out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think you're in a place now where you can move forward in that. So the job actually became a little bit lighter. You know what I mean? It was easier for me to keep doing it. Now the hard part is I got the bug now for real.
Yeah.
Like
I got that taste.
I got that taste. So
sure.
I'm completely hooked now. And I go to my wife and I say, "Babe, I know we just bought this house. I know."
How do you feel about an apartment?
You know what I mean? You know, look,
in LA.
In LA, right? Like we're gonna leave Chicago. We know no one in LA. Nobody. No hookups. No relatives. No nothing. Right. And after I convinced my wife, which wasn't a hard thing to do, because Tiffany is like, "Look, man, I will roll with you. We will live in a box as long as it's us and we rolling and we doing this thing. Let's go."
Okay.
So we sell the house. I have a conversation with my mother-in-law, Tiff's mom. She said, "Now let me get this straight. Baby, you want to leave the Chicago Police Department, this good city job. You just bought a house.
Your pension ain't vested.
Right.
You got the 5-year-old, and then we had Styles, right? You know, so now we got Styles, right? And she's like,
shout out to Styles, by the way.
And Tiffany was pregnant with Spencer, our daughter. Right. So you want to take my grandbabies and my only daughter all the way to Los Angeles from Chicago. And what are you going to do?
Without a job, Negro.
And what are you going to do when you get out there, David? Are you... No, this is what Mama said. She was like,
I'm sure she did.
So David, you going to join the police department in L.A.?
Which is my thought.
And I was like, no, Mom, I'm really not going to do that because I could stay here. You know what I mean? And do that. Right. That's what I was thinking, right?
Because LA, sorry.
But here's the thing. When you get into that space and we moved, so we made the move and we're out here. How about this, y'all? We moved into a place. Tiffany's girlfriend had a cousin who did security for the Lakers.
Oh,
okay.
He had a really nice house. I think like I want to say North Hills or something like that, right? Yeah. Cool crib.
Yeah.
Pulled the pension down. We had saved money. We moved in with my mother-in-law for a year. So I was able to stack the CPD money, right? So we move out. He gets a job with the Phoenix Suns during security, but he doesn't want to sell his house. So we were going to move into an apartment, but this house kind of fell into our lap.
But God has something else in mind.
Yep.
Ask me, y'all, what the name of the street was that the house was on.
Huh. I got
Kismet.
Okay.
Wow.
Kismet is the name of the street. Now
That's
I'm saying
crazy.
to myself, I was like, this cannot be. I was
That's
like, look
crazy.
at God, you just showing off now,
Listen,
right?
listen.
You are
Show
just
up and show out.
You are showing out right now. So I feel like everything is good. So we get out here, we move into this house. We moved in July.
Okay.
I booked my first television gig in October.
Okay.
Right?
Great odds.
Shortly after that, I got a gig on The Shield, 2 lines. But Michael Chiklis and what is Chick's last name? It's escaping me right. Eagly.
Okay.
Yeah. So they liked me and they brought me back, and I ended up doing like 11 episodes of The Shield.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, y'all, we hadn't been out here 2 years.
The hottest
3
show
years
on
yet
TV.
at the time, right? So I mean, like things are really going well, and then that writer's strike, the
2008, 2007, 2008. Yeah.
grinding, screeching halt, and I felt like everything I had to get back at the end of the line and like start all over again, right? Nelson Ellis, God rest his soul, my brother. I met Nelson. We were at Columbia at the same time, but we didn't connect. Like I would see him, and and I think he left Columbia and went to Juilliard.
Where would he be right now? All the roles that he was killing. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
He would probably have an Emmy and an Oscar.
I know he would have an Oscar by now.
Crazy.
I know he would.
Crazy.
I know he would. But Nelson and I connected out here, and this is how I met Lynn Wachter. He wrote this play that was just, like I said, absolutely amazing. I went and auditioned for the role in the play, and Lynn, Nelson, and I were literally like creative kindred spirits. Like we just, let's go. What's the next thing? Lynn did a short. Okay, cool. We gonna all jump on that. Nelson had a short film he wanted to do. We all jumped on that. Like it was like that's how we kind of ran for a while.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. My village. Let's go. And when it got to a place where his career just began to take off, right, into another stratosphere. He got this piece of Leverage. I think it was Leverage. And then from Leverage, he got True Blood. And then once he got True Blood, he just did the dude.
Lafayette.
The dude just took off, right? And I remember thinking to myself, because at that point, y'all, Nelson and I had done 2 short films, Page 36, and I'm trying to, the other title is escaping me, but we did 2 shorts that got into ABFF.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So Nelson and I were almost kind of like on a page of like, you know what, to hell with the system, like we doing it. Let's just keep this thing moving. He was writing, I was producing, or I would write, and then he would like. I mean, we just literally just kept it going. But it all stemmed from a place of the frustrated actor who got tired of being called in for gangbanger number 1 or dope boy number 3.
Waiting for Hollywood.
You know what I mean? You know, exactly. You know, and we just felt like we can do so much more. We can do better. Yeah. And we can tell stories. And don't get me wrong, that's really part of my journey. Sure. But it's a part. It's like a small piece of the journey. You know what I mean? But we wanted to develop characters with weight and substance. And even if we were going to do that, like operate in that space, let's really talk about making these fully informed human beings, people with a struggle, with a want, with something that's so much bigger than where they are right now, and all of these obstacles that are in the way. And let's watch them navigate that.
Yeah, the underlying humanity of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's sort of where it all came from. And then, you know, when the strike came, I just felt like I gotta pivot.
Exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
Exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
I did the exact same thing. I was like, I'm not waiting for Hollywood no more.
Yeah.
I started my company.
Yeah.
Hill Dog Productions.
Yeah.
You know.
Shout out to Hill Dog Productions.
Yes,
Right.
It's one of the best.
Right.
824.
Right.
I'm teasing. But it was the same thing. I was out there during the strike, you know, picking in.
Yeah.
And it literally hit me like, well, I had written this pilot, and in the pilot was this moment where there were 2 people trapped on a train.
Yeah.
And one of my producer friends had just read it, and we were walking around talking. He was giving me some thoughts about what he saw, and he was like, bro, when I got to this scene, he was like, this felt like a nice little short film or like a proof of concept or something, whatever. And I was like, why would I do that? Like, you know, you always do that at first.
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, we're still picking it. I was like, forget this.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting for Hollywood no more. I'm just going to do my own thing. So I just took a step back from trying to be staffed and all that stuff, and I just focused. You know, I made my project. It was critically acclaimed. And then people were like, hell, help me do mine. 34 projects later.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Was 2008?
That was 2009 was my first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because we did Cherry Bomb in 2008. That was like it first started doing its thing. Yeah.
But same thing. It was because of that strike. And I was like, we're all literally sitting here waiting for Hollywood?
Yeah.
No way, dude. I could do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was a switch for me.
Man, I felt like it was time, and I couldn't wait. The impatience for it really just sort of fueled me.
Right.
Now here comes the frustration of it all. Because
the reality.
The reality of it. Because when we want it, and we want it now, and we want it when it's the way that I want it, and I want God to show up this way, and I want it to look like this, and
where's the Bible say? It may not come when you want them.
Hey man, look,
always on time.
Listen,
right?
when I tell you, I just got to a place where I was just super frustrated. So Nelson's career is taking off, and I'm kind of just sort of floundering. And I said, you know what? Maybe I need to go to film school. And I think for me, it was twofold. Yeah. I hadn't finished my undergraduate work. And it would also be something that would, you know, serve me, you know, down the road. I said, if I'm a better informed actor with how this all works and come together, this will just help me more, right? I'll understand why you can't slam cups down, you know, like but you need to learn that, right? So I went to a little school in the Valley, Columbia College, Hollywood, right off Reseda, and Reseda and Oxnard in the Valley, and I spent 3 years there. I'm working at Crate and Barrel in the stockroom.
Wow.
My wife,
discounts.
Oh man, listen, but it still costs an arm and a leg, even with a discount.
But I bet your house was fit to be tied and fly.
Yeah. All of the frou-frou dishes, and you know,
all the things that so-called broker didn't go in.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't need this box, right?
Hey, man, listen,
they got cute stuff at Crate and Barrel. Sorry, go on. They ain't paying Hilliard yet.
Man, listen. So I'm gigging at Crate and Barrel. I'm going to school. And it's still just not happening. Like I don't see, like I feel like I'm that hamster on that.
Yeah, seeing the fruits of the labor.
Auditions have all slowed down, and it really sort of hit me like a shot. There was an actor who came into Crate and Barrel that very early on, I had like a great experience with. You know, for the 3 weeks that we were working together. Sure. And this actor comes into the shop and literally like walked right past me.
Damn.
And like I'm open arms, like,
Hey.
what?
Wow.
And I was like, this can't be.
Welcome to Hollywood.
It's like, they don't even see me.
It was like, this can't be
Yeah.
what this is. But back to your first point, Hill, I said I have to always show up consistently who and what
Facts.
I am at all times. And I
Facts.
can't allow the bitterness of this journey or even the fruits that have come from the journey to change my walk
Right.
and how I move. I don't, you know what I mean? I would never want to be that dude, right? I graduate and still it's silence, it's crickets. My wife gives me a copy of The Alchemist.
Ooh,
Yeah.
And
that is a good one.
this book changed my life.
For the people who haven't read it, what's it generally about?
So Santiago sets out on a journey for his personal legacy, right? You know, like his purpose. And he starts out as a shepherd boy, but he aspires to be more and to do more. And
Sounds familiar.
right. And the story, there's a point in the story where Santiago has sold his flock. And he goes to a fortune teller, and the fortune teller tells him that your treasure is waiting for you at the pyramids. You know, so he has to leave where he is. He has to travel across, you know, this open sea. He has to walk forever. Like he gets into this caravan, and it's this journey to move
And to
towards,
trust his intuitive guidance.
exactly.
He has to trust to take the lead.
Exactly. He has to. He hears from, and what we'll come to realize throughout the story is that God has been with him the entire time.
Right.
He didn't really realize it or understand it at the time, but God was always with him.
Right.
But long story short, I read The Alchemist, and my whole perspective on it kind of changes, and it really hit me like a shot, because there's a point where Santiago is working in a glass shop, right? So I'm standing in the middle of Crate and Barrel, right, with all of this, you know, pretty stuff around me, asking myself, like, God, I know you didn't bring me all the way out here to LA to have me out here, you know, with people cursing me out because we don't have a pillow cushion in stock, you know what I mean, you know, that they want. You know, I said, there's got to be more to it than this.
Right.
But what was really happening was, I think I was being forged, you know, in that moment. There's a humbling, and like a humility, and even like that one lesson that I took from Crate and Barrel. David, if you don't like where you are in your life, if you don't like it, change it. You have to take responsibility for where you're standing right now, because what it occurred to me was that all of the decisions that I had made up to this point in my life got me to this moment. Got me into this glass shop, you know. And here's the thing. Did the fortune teller tell me, leave this good government job and this house and this career, you know, that you had? Did it tell you to leave the military? Yeah, like there was something that
Your
spoke to me.
intuition absolutely
There was
told
something
you
that
that,
spoke to me to leave those places and leave the security, you know, of that, to launch out, to go find where I'm supposed to be and to walk into the space that I'm supposed
Into
to
the
be.
real security.
Absolutely.
See,
Absolutely.
I always say that most of us move here, and you come here and you sacrifice. You're giving up something to come here. It's very rare. Unless you come here with a job, you're coming here to sacrifice to get the job.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You come here on passion. You come here on love. You come here on, I have to do this. Like most of us would do this if we didn't ever make money.
Yeah.
But of course, you want to make money.
Most of us start
But
out
it's-
doing it for free.
You have
That's
to.
just kind
Right.
of
You have
the
to.
This is
reality.
what it is, right?
The
Yeah.
creatives,
Yeah.
like we have to do this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. This is a beautiful story. It's great.
So I while I'm in Crate and Barrel, I had graduated undergrad,
Okay,
and
good.
I knew that I had to do more. Now here's the one thing that I'll cop to. I started listening to the voices of Hollywood is a town of relationship.
Facts.
You have to figure out how to insert yourself in this pipeline, or a pipeline that will get you into proximity of the brokers,
That part.
the gatekeepers,
Right.
the people that make the decisions about who's going to move from point A to point B. So it had occurred to me, I went to Barnes and Noble. I'm going to produce, and I'm speaking this into existence, I'm going to produce the Step and Fetch It story.
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm going to
interesting.
do that.
Okay.
I'm going to do that. Because here's the thing. I digress for just a second. There would be no Sidney Poitier. There would be no Denzel Washington. None of those folks somebody had to come into that space. And at this particular time during the Depression and in the 30s, the opinion of black people was that we were what they perceived us to be. They controlled all of the avenues except for Brother Michaud, right? You know, who's doing his own thing. But not many of us had that sort of motivation, right? And that sort of angst. Right. But Lincoln Perry, Step and Fetch It, became a millionaire. Right? And the first certified, bona fide Hollywood black box office draw. Period.
He was nothing like that character.
No, nothing like it.
Well, the thing was that they were, because what you're talking about is like, is how we were seen through a white lens.
Yes.
And what we were allowed to be seen as. Whereas Michaud was like, I want to talk about other things. So like he's going door to door. Like raising money. And this is the thing. There's all the different ways in. And I know like I have my own ways of going about things. There's like, but it's like the both and of it all. Like if he's going in and doing that, Michaud's doing it from this side. It's putting pressure in different places. And we need the pressure in the different places. Like my mother's in the studio with us today. My mom and my dad made me watch Stormy Weather as a small child. My dad also made me read Miseducation of the Negro when I was 11. He was that daddy. So like they're very old, you know, very about like those the different pathways to things. And he like Panthers, he was very much so an activist and all that thing. So like I got all that education, but also the realizations like as a diplomat, like your dad was in the community, but also as you were, but from the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like your dad was working like the part from the streets and making sure that there was a certain level of peace and his family was protected, right? And then like you're from the cop side. It's like there's times where we get into those positions where we might like I was a real estate manager for a while. My dad was a broker at a bit and came in LA in a place that was gentrifying. Unfortunately, there's very about revitalization, very not about gentrification. But I needed a job. I had a kid. We were in a 1-bedroom apartment because the apartment I was in like had fallen through. We were living like it was not.
You do what you got to do.
It was not good. And the first day on the job, they give us 60-day notices to hand all these Latin families who had been living in this apartment for over a decade. The slumlords owned it beforehand. It was not well taken care of, but it was not rent controlled. And for 45 minutes after I got off that day of a job that I desperately needed, I sat in the car and sobbed. I sobbed. And then I was like, okay, I know I need this job. I know I need to take care of my kid. I find it repugnant what is happening here. And I was like, I prayed. I said, help me to make this situation better. There's got to be a better way to do this than what other people are doing. I will have more grace and kindness and advocate for the people in a way other people will not. And I need this job at this moment. So God, let me be the vessel for making this better in the ways that I can, and then moving forward in the ways that I can. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I feel like when we hear the stories of like all the people like Step and Fetch It and hear like Hattie McDaniel, who's like, you know, you were playing maids, and she's like, I'd rather have a maid and play a maid. Than be a maid.
Exactly.
You know?
Absolutely.
Go on, sorry.
The piece about Step that, to your point, Hill, that fascinated me as I'm doing the research and I'm learning about him is that this dude wrote an article for the Defender, the Chicago Defender. He was a journalist. He could quote scripture in the Bible, verse and chapter.
I had no idea.
And he was super intelligent. And here's the thing. Yes, he was a Caribbean African, right? So because his point of view wasn't that of an American slave, he came into this with a bit of a hustler's mentality in his life, kind of like, if this is how they see me, and if this is what it is, let me give the people what they want so I can get in. And then once I get in, I'm just going to kill the game. He pretended to be his own representation, his own manager.
That's right. I did
He
know
created
that.
I think it was Mr. Greenberg, you know what he called him, right? And I'll just leave that where it is. Sure. You know, he created that character who he would say, well, Mr. Greenberg doesn't believe that that's enough money for me, right? He negotiated his own deals. And these are the things that, like I said, a lot of people just miss. They think that he was just this fool, this, this buffoon. And certainly every negative stereotype in our community attributed to him, right? But there was such a method to the madness, and this is what I want to produce and develop. Okay. But I'm researching that, and I came across Larry Terman's book, So You Want to Be a Producer.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So Larry Terman, what I didn't know at the time, it was just the title had struck me. Right. So You Want to Be a Producer. And as I'm reading the preface and in the foreword, they mention the Peter Stark producing program at USC probably 50 times. Like just in the front of the book. We want to thank these people, we want to thank this, and shout out to USC and da. And I said to myself, wow, there's got to be a reason that is just so at the forefront of everything. And all of my peers in undergrad at Columbia had aspirations of going to SC. Okay. I knew about the Spielberg building. I knew about the George Lucas building. I knew about all of the people that had come out of SC. Ryan Coogler's film Fig was in competition with with Nelson and I, one of the films we had produced, right? So I had a chance to meet him very early on, but he was an alum, of SC. So I'm saying to myself that all of these people who have sort of gained access via the University of Southern California, let me give it a shot. Let me apply. So I applied to the Stark program at age 37, 36, something like that. And during my interview,
he still looked like he's 22 though.
Little baby face. You got a baby face over here.
My daddy,
Mama D, he a vampire. That's why.
My daddy told me you get that Vaseline and you got to
My grandma had her Pond's and her Vaseline.
There it is. That Pond's, right. Larry Terman during the interview, he said, David, I don't mean to offend you, but I'm just being honest to let you know what you're dealing with. Are you going to be okay with returning to school possibly with 22, 23-year-olds and, you have a family, you got, you know what I mean? You're a grown man with responsibilities. And I said, well, this is what I think. I have a lot that I can learn from those young folks that are very social media savvy and tech savvy and all of the things that I am not. But I also feel like I have a lot that I can share with, a cohort. A lot that I can share and impart, with my classmates. And Larry asked me ultimately what I wanted to do. And I told him about Step and Fetch It. And he said, you know what? I really believe that you're going to produce that. And that was the end of it. Fast forward, I get into SC. Let me back up just a little bit.
Go ahead, you good.
I had to take the GRE to go to grad school.
Oh, yeah.
So I took the prep course. Okay. And when I tell y'all that score was abysmal, look, listen to me now. Listen.
You're a little rusty.
Hey, man, look. I got that score back and opened that envelope and looked at those numbers and I was like, well, guess it won't be grad school. Right. You know what I mean? Just, completely defeated, in that mentality. And later, after I had gotten in, what Larry told me was, he said, listen, man, this is a school for creatives. Math and science is great, and there's nothing wrong with no knock on anybody if that's your passion and your pursuit. Right. But we don't really care, if you understand. Yeah, we wanted you to take it because it's a requirement to get into the school. But as long as you take it, that's what we need. You're okay. Right. The day that I found out that I got into the Stark program, I was in the stock room at Crate and Barrel.
Still there.
I'm looking across the stock room at my son, who at the time, Julian, my oldest boy, who's in his early 20s. Wow. And I'm asking myself, God, what did I do wrong? Wow. Because here I am, My son, I probably make 40 cents more an hour than my son.
Jesus Christ.
So for me, I felt like you did something wrong somewhere, bruh. You know, I get the news that I got in. I'm over the moon excited, y'all. This is a game changer. This program has produced some folks that are really doing some big things in the industry.
Big things.
Here's the thing. In order to hold your seat at USC, there's a $2,000 deposit that you have to pay in order to hold the seat.
Right.
Not only did I not have $2,000, here's the foul part. I belong to a really strong church, Hope's House, right out in Chatsworth. Beautiful church, beautiful pastors, generous spirit, giving spirits. All I would have had to have done was open my mouth and ask 20 people at the church to give me $100, go to the pastors even, hey, you know, can I borrow this money and I'll get it back to you all? Pride wouldn't let me do it. It just wouldn't.
Black
so now, exactly. So now I'm stuck.
Closed mouth don't get fed.
Don't get fed. I go over to the mall, which is right across the street from Crate and Barrel. I'm walking around the Topanga Mall, and I go into the Banana Republic, favorite store on the planet. Just love the clothes, and you know, just
because they fit snug.
Yeah. I wish I could get this, and it'd be so nice to have that, and maybe one day, and you know, all of that. I think I picked up a pair of socks or something like that. There's a sister in there. She said, you know, sir, would you fill out this credit card application, you know, for me? I was like, sister, let me explain something to you. I have enough issues with some credit right now. You know, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do it to myself. You know what I mean? Let me just, you know, and she's like, no, really, whether you get it or not, you would be doing me a favor because my manager is on my head about just getting people to apply for the credit card. Okay, sister, let me go ahead and fill the little card out. I'm literally just walking out of the store, just, where am I going to get this money? The sister ran the application right there on the spot. She chased me down. Sir, wait a minute. Wait. Baby. I turn around. She said, you were approved. I said, what? You were approved. You can have the card if you want. You're approved.
Wow.
Ask me, y'all, how much the credit limit was.
I literally was about to say.
Ask me how much the credit line was.
It's got to be 2 or 25 or something.
$2,000.
Even.
Wow.
When I tell you.
Boy, the angels be following them.
God was like, you ain't going to take the easier way. You're still supposed to go, though. So I'm just going to, can you fill out your name?
You know what
you ain't going to ask nobody. Can you just fill out your name?
Put your name on the paper, man. And give them the number. Give them the number and your name and be done with it. When I tell y'all, and on everything I love, when I tell y'all I cried like a baby, like this woman looked at me like, oh my God, are you okay? You know, you know, like you need a hug or something. I'm like, like that kind of crying. And I walked back to Crate and Barrel and I knew I was like, that's real. And I said, if I ever doubted whether or not I was on the right path. All of that, what I perceived to be silence and being ignored and not really understanding like what the journey was or what it really entailed. Like all of that stuff in that moment, gone. And I was like, you know what? I get it. Thank you, Father. I'm with you and I'm going to sing your praises from this moment forward in anything that I'm doing. And as I walk this thing out, I know that you're gonna be with it.
Walk it out.
Yeah, exactly. I get into Stark. Part of the program is you have to do an internship. So now here I am, 38 years old, and I'm running around going to get coffee, and I'm dropping phone calls because I'm just not that dude, and you know, and I had to take the bus and the train from the Valley to HBO. We had one car. My wife was getting the kids and moving the kids around. So you leave mama with the car, you know, I'll get on the train and the bus and, you know, do what I need to do. But, you know, I get to work probably like an hour and a half before anybody else because once again, one of my I got it from my dad. You need to be the first dude there. You should be the last dude to leave. Right. Period. You let them know you ready, to get there.
He lying. Their food at HBO. They get free food. Hey. He trying
to. And also breakfast.
And breakfast. The croissants. Yeah, they were nice. But I get there early, and Len Amato, one of the executives at the time at HBO, he saw me, and he would notice that I would get there early because he would get there, early. And one day he said, we just strike up a conversation, and he said, what's your story, man? Like you're a little long in the tooth. You're a little long in the tooth, for the intern.
You kind of old, Jack. You kind of old.
Yeah, for the intern.
Like how you end up here?
Yeah, exactly. And I explained to him, like what I just shared with y'all. And he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, ultimately, what I want to do is I want to write, I want to produce, I want to direct. I got a mantra, y'all. It is literally on a loop in my head. By God's grace and mercy, I'm writing, producing, directing, and acting in award-winning, critically acclaimed film and television projects that yield me an annual high six-figure salary so that I might do your will and consistently provide for my family."
All right, to that.
Wait, say that again, affirm it. Say it again.
By God's grace and mercy, I'm writing, producing, directing, and acting in award-winning, critically acclaimed film and television projects that yield me an annual high six-figure salary so that I might do your will and consistently provide for my family. Heavenly Father, if this is not for your will for my life, if this is pleasing in your sight, let the resources and the provisions come. And as they come, let me step boldly, fully, and confidently into all that it is that you've called me to be.
Okay.
Search me. If there's anything in me that is not in perfect alignment with your will for my life,
I'm not getting teary-eyed about this.
Take it away.
Yeah. Release it.
Take it away.
And so it is, and so we let it be.
It's on a loop. Yeah. And anytime that I feel like I'm sort of like, you know how this walk is, man. Y'all. You kind of feel like, am I in the right spot? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Every year. At some point.
It recalibrates me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I can kind of, keep, pushing forward. Yeah. Alignment. That's the word, alignment. So Lynn is asking me, what do you want to do? And I said, look, man, that's what I want to do. I want to set up my own shingle. I want to do my own stuff. And he said, you know what? You're going to be able to do all of those things, man. He was like, but what's the biggest issue now? And I was like, well, I'm trying to figure out which one of my children I'm going to have to sacrifice to pay the University of Chicago, Southern California, back, all of this money that we didn't borrow, that we didn't leverage to, you know what I mean? Yeah. And at the time I was doing my thesis project. And this is also how I came into the professional writing space.
Okay.
I'm working on my thesis at SC. And one of the instructors in the Stark program, a writing instructor, he said, Shanks, if you're not writing about your experience as a police officer in Chicago, you are doing yourself a tremendous disservice.
Totally agree.
But here's where I was, y'all. I was like, I did that. I don't even want
You're not alone.
Back to that.
Everybody does the opposite.
Yeah.
And here's what's funny. Just sidebar.
Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot. Most people make it on the script they didn't want to write. That script they did not want to write because of that reason, or they didn't want people to know that side of them.
That's crazy.
It's that thing that gets you in. Everybody, including myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I got my thesis project. I go ahead, I take his advice, and I write this thing called Midnights in Six. I worked in the 6th district in Chicago. I worked midnights as a cop. So I'm basically telling the story. If I had to, my elevator pitch of it is, how did Vic Mackey of The Shield become Vic Mackey?
Okay, good.
It's an origin story.
It's an origin story. When you meet Vic Mackey in the pilot of The Shield, he shoots his partner in the face. He's already there. How did he get there?
Gotcha.
And what I did is I tell the story of how, because again, you know it as a cop, you see it, that slippery slope. It starts with that first free cup of coffee, that first donut, that first pack of Tylenol that they give you, right? The little package they give you, but they give it to you at these little liquor stores and bodegas, and they say your money is no good here. That's where it starts.
Interesting.
Because the cops keep coming around and it keeps away the other parts. And then if they doing some shady shit.
Come in, my friend.
I mean, I know we can't.
Exactly.
It makes but like Chicago.
That's
Chicago
what it is. Say it. Speak on it now. That's what it is.
Like
that's what it is. That's what it is.
I was like, people talk about they like Obama. His hands were clean. I said, I bet they were. I said, but I bet you somebody's wasn't. Because it's Chicago.
Hey, listen. It's a grimy place. It's a grimy city, and that particular job, you are on the front line of the griminess.
The intersections of all that organized crime, all the rest of the stuff, and there's somebody that's got to be greasing the wheels.
Yeah.
It don't have to be you, but it's somebody.
Tommy and I knew where all of the dope was. We knew all of the players.
And probably what players you don't fuck with.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you can make $300-400 a night because some dancer just needs somebody to make sure she get home with all of the money that she didn't made, you know what I mean, out, doing her thing.
Yeah.
She's giving you a tithe.
And there it is. You know?
Yeah.
So I say all of that to say that, like, I write this thing, and one of the assistants at HBO, Marie Halliday.
Midnight to 6, is that what it goes?
Midnights in 6.
In 6. Gotcha.
Midnights in 6.
Gotcha.
I got it all laid out. I got the script. And the way your capstone project, your thesis project works, you have to cast it.
Yeah.
Who's going to shoot it? Who's going to who's going to produce it? What's your budget? Like, you have to lay out all of those things.
How long was it?
It was an hour. It was an hour drama, serialized drama, right? So I write this thing.
So you were able to do a pilot.
Yeah. So
wow.
you could write a pilot, or you could go downstairs to the kids in the writing program, and you could option one of their scripts.
Gotcha.
And the same process. You know what I mean? You run it all the way through. You break it down. You budget it. Everything. Who's going to direct, like all of that stuff. And then you defend your thesis.
Gotcha.
So there's a panel of graduates and industry professionals. You got to pitch it. And for me, one of the mentors that basically cuffed me and has sort of shepherded, my career, is Aaron Rashawn Thomas.
Shout out to Aaron.
Right? So Art, basically, SC alum, read and reviewed my packet, right? And he read it, and he gave me notes, and just hella constructive notes, and it's like, look, man, I think you got something, but let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. But fast forward, I get past, the pitch, graduate. Now we're out in the world. What next? Because I owe SC all this money. Right? That particular script, Marie Halliday, one of the executive's assistants at HBO, said, David, can I read that? I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's a combination of, but here's the thing. It's a combination of ignorance and a combination of, check this one, walking in shame and feeling like you don't belong in this space. Imposter syndrome.
I don't belong.
I don't belong here. And I'm not going to waste your time with my little script, right?
Wow.
Marie takes the script. Well, let me back up just a little bit. Okay. My instructor reads the script, and he said, David, what are you going to do with this? And I said, well, once again, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay SC back. I don't know, man. He said, do you have representation? I said, no. He said, do you mind if I show this to somebody?
Did you tell him no, too?
No. I told him, I was like, hey, man. I said, hey, man.
I was like, come on, Negro.
You want, right. I said, you want to show it to somebody, man, go ahead. Whatever. He's doing that. God is operating that way, right? Marie Halliday takes the script off my desk. She just snatched it, burned a copy, and like an hour and a half later, she circles back with the little elephant clip and just throws me my joint back. And she was like, I'm going to read it tonight. We'll talk tomorrow. What?
I appreciate this woman.
I love her.
Yeah. Marie Halliday is a beast. Dope. Shout out to Marie Halliday.
She's like, you playing small, and I ain't gonna let it happen on my watch.
I'm not gonna let it happen.
Watch.
So Marie,
she's been curious about you for a while.
And listen, when I tell y'all, once again, they're putting me, and God has a sense of humor. Boy, I tell you, I don't like cubicles. I'm not a computer dude. I'm not, like to organize my book and keep my calendar and all that. I'm not that guy. You need to be at the
table in the writer's room.
Yeah, I'm not that dude at all, right? So Marie was like, let me read it. So she reads it that night. She comes back the next day and she said, David, you should take this downstairs to Scott Nemes. Scott Nemes at the time was the head of Cinemax. The division of HBO at the time. She said, you should really take this down to Scott and let Scott read this. Right. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I'm not wasting Scott's time with my little script.
But I can understand, because the thing is, you're afraid to burn bridges. You're afraid, everybody thinks that one time
HBO
is their only
prestige
shot.
too, so you don't think you're on that level sometimes.
And it's also like, you want, at least for me, because I know, we know a lot of people. We have a lot, but the thing is, we think of it as like a one-shot thing, that like if we use that one shot on something, all the shots are gone. Yep. If it wasn't the perfect thing, then they think I'm terrible. What if they think I'm an awful writer? What if they do whatever the things are? Exactly. And it's like, and then I've blown my wad. I've blown my wad on this one thing. And so there's like a fear there. Yep. And we don't always get that there are angels and champions. And for me, I'm very much so about the unseen. I'd be talking to angels and fairies every day. Yeah. But like that there's angels walking around us too, even ones that are silent. Like you had ones that were actually speaking to you, but there's ones that actually are speaking our names in rooms that we don't even know that that's happening. Exactly. But it's still a scary thing to like, no matter how much, like as we expand, and I think we energetically, I'm a woo-woo girl, energetically we expand before the physical world catches up, right? Yeah. So like the people around, there's some of them that can see that expansion and want to join in helping it, and there's some that see the expansion and get scared or uncomfortable. That's a whole different thing, which ones we align with. Yes. But like there's people who are clearly like on board for your expansion. Yep. But that you were afraid to like step into that next thing. Yes. But the thing is, which was
and they've been waiting for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And the thing is, given your story, it's fair. And I don't, this is something Spirit's calling on me to say. So there must be somebody listening who needs to hear this. Right. But like that in your journey, there's a reason why you were afraid. There are multiple times where you took leaps of expansion. Right. Yeah. Even watching your dad took leaps of expansion in ways and let you see them transparently. And all of them didn't turn out in comfortable ways in the moment. And no matter how many times we get to the other side of something, it's still scary to think about that moment where we realize we're like, oh, this shit's fucked up. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be here right now. This is fucked up. I was led here. Spirit, God, who I believe in, has put me here. And what the fuck were you thinking? Like, why am I here right now? Right? Like, why am I here? What is going on? Did I do everything wrong? It was listening to you. Was I just in my ego or in my own thoughts and not hearing something clearly as what was being the calling? Yep. And so when we're in that inflection point where it feels like an even bigger leap, because that's the thing is when it's things we're attached to, we have a resonance around the fear around it. It's like, it's like that Diana Ross thing, and also anybody who's into interject stuff. It's like there's two sides of the stick, right? Whenever you're manifesting and you have a vision, there's a side of the stick that is everything manifest, everything done in its most magnificent, beautiful form, right? That's doing all the things and touching all the people it's supposed to touch and making all the ripples and giving you the money to help other people make all of their money and like expanding. And then there's the other side of the stick that activates all of the fear, right? And if we've been in parts of the fear, sometimes it's hard to lean into the other part. And so when you're in that moment,
it's because one side is stronger. Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think we're attuned through a lot of things, especially in our society the way it is, because it actually functions to keep our systems working the way that they do, for us to lean into fear. Yeah. There's a sociological thing around being tied into fear that is just a human thing. Like we're taught to listen to fear first, because that's, at least for those of us who are not neurotypical people. Neurodivergent sometimes is a little bit different for us. Like we'll sometimes go towards the fear and we aren't afraid of the things that other people are. Yeah. But you can't have everybody be that way, because we'd all be dead. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a reason why some people listen to the fear. That's why that voice is stronger. Yeah. But when you're being God-led, that's it, or spirit or universe-led, whatever it is, whatever term you use, they have more information than we have. Yeah. So they are giving us instruction based on a wider base of information that is informing something that's telling us to leap even though it's scary. So it was reasonable to have the fear, but you were being drawn through because there's something else that you were intended to do.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
She took it.
Marie takes the script. She takes it downstairs.
She did it herself.
She did it herself. She took it down to Scott Nemus. About 2 days later, Scott calls me and says, David, I want to give you some notes, man, but I think you got something here. What do you want to do with this? And I said, standard answer, I'm trying to figure out
make lots of money.
How I'm going to pay back SC. And and he said, will you mind if I show this to somebody? Do you mind if I show somebody over here with my instructor? And then Scott says, do you mind if I show this to somebody over here? The lesson in this that I got, and I want to cut to the lesson first for the writers out here. Everything starts with what you put on the page. Everything starts from there. If you write a script that's good, people, not just people, I think the right people will find it. It's just weird how it works. Right. If it's a good piece of material, people share it, and it'll get passed around. And it'll end up where it's supposed to end up to help you move forward in your journey.
I probably have 3 or 4 scripts that I probably wrote 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That still, one of them, that still circle around every 2 years. Yeah. Hey, I came across your script. It came across my desk. I'm like, what do you mean it came across your desk?
Yeah.
It does that.
Yeah.
And then you get to the whole process and it gets close and then it falls apart sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me.
I wonder, and this is like a genuine in the climate now, because I believe in synchronicities and momentum and all that, hands down. Yeah. I also feel like that used to happen a lot more, like that whole thing of the cream just rises to the top.
Yeah.
Then
There's so much now.
I don't experience that as much now as I have. There's stuff that I think is probably even brilliant that doesn't always make it.
Oh, of course. Sure. Absolutely.
To the people that it needs to make it to. And I would even say, this is just a side note for people, like your first draft, even your first few drafts, they may be decent or solid, but don't think that if they aren't perfect, getting something done is an accomplishment, and then taking the notes and refining it is something you do so that it can continue to get better. Yeah. So even if it's the first version of it is not perfect, there's a reason why it came through you, and keep working on it and keep honing it until it's better and it becomes the thing that it needs to become. Yep. But I just wonder if that's the case anymore in the same way that it used to be, I guess, depending. But I do think that we should still keep telling stories. I think sometimes we just have to more often bet on ourselves now. Because not all the times the pathways aren't always I would just say the pathways are different now, but I would like to hear 2 people had the things out to different places to look at, and then what happened. Yeah.
So my instructor, unbeknownst to me, had sent the script to, oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Glenn Mazzara.
Okay. Shout out to Glenn.
He
I call him Uncle Glenn.
Yeah. Uncle Glenn. Exactly. He sent it to Uncle Glenn. He sent it to Uncle Glenn. Glenn Mazzara read it and said, I think this is pretty good. Is this guy around, anywhere? Fast forward, my instructor coordinates a meeting for me to meet with Glenn Mazzara.
That's what's that.
I meet with Glenn Mazzara. Glenn suggests that I apply to one of the writer fellowships, one of the many that are floating around. And because I'm James Jr.'s son and the consummate hustler, I said, in order to get into those programs, you need some really strong letters of recommendation. Would you be willing to write a letter for me? Smart. And Glenn said, absolutely. Yeah. I will write a letter for you. So Glenn, is helping me, in that way, in that lane. And then Glenn says, do you mind if I show this to somebody? Sure. This is where, like I said, I know it's nothing but God involved in this now. Glenn Mazzara shows this script to Rob Keneally at CAA. Let's hold that thought for a second. Back to Scott Nemus, who shows my script to Ed Bonero.
Wow.
Ed Bonero, Third Watch, Criminal Minds, when people say the gorilla in the room, they're talking about Ed Banero. Period. That's just what it is. Like he's a god in the writing space in that way. Coincidentally, Ed Banero is taking a pitch or pitching to Scott Nemes in Cinemax a project. These two men connect and talk, and Scott mentions me to Ed Banero, and Ed Banero says, "Stop. Is his name David Shanks?
No.
And did he write Midnights in 6?" And he said, "Yeah. He's upstairs right now."
Hilarious.
Dropping phone calls and messing up lunch orders and stuff, right? He's upstairs right now. So Ed Banero comes upstairs and he says, you, get over here, you. And I'm thinking, y'all, I'm about to get fired once again, right? I'm like, because I sat between Carrie Ann Tholis's office, who was over like limited series at HBO, and Lynn Amata's office. And when I tell y'all that was an education in and of itself, I ear hustled every pitch that came into those two offices. Like just,
nothing
I learned so much. Nothing is wasted. Absolutely nothing was wasted. So for as much frustration that I had with messing up lunch orders and dropping calls and all of that stuff, the price of admission, that was the price of admission to get that education.
Oh, so you know they liked your ass, because when you're doing all that, somebody would have fired
somebody
you a long
would have
time
fired
ago.
a long time ago. They was like, you know what, Dave, he's doing the best he can. Let's just keep him around. You know, he's a good dude. You know, so long story short, Ed is like, call my assistant right now. He said, did you write Midnights in 6? I said, I did. He said, I want you to call my assistant right now. And I want you to get on my book, and I want to meet with you, and I want us to talk, and I want to figure out how I can help you move from point A to point B. Yay. What is your biggest problem right now?
So you tell them.
I need owe money
to SC, right? You know, so it's the whole thing. And Ed says, that's not a problem anymore. I'm going to staff you.
Wow.
Oh,
next.
Well, thanks.
What's the next problem?
Wow.
Crazy, right? So what I
did you know
didn't
the answer
know,
yet? You'd been saying that for so long.
I had no idea. So I
love these stories.
So he was like, I didn't know that Ed Banero was a cop from Chicago.
Right.
Chicago too. From Chicago, who moved out to LA to chase this dream.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And it was all so,
you told his story, didn't you? To some extent. He related to all that.
He literally was like, that would happen.
Yeah.
That's how, you know, like it was that kind of thing. So Ed offers me a job as a staff writer on Alfre Woodard and Katherine Heigl, State of Affairs. That was the show. Alfre Woodard played the first female black president, and her daily brief was presented to her by Katherine Heigl.
Right.
There were 17 writers on this show.
Damn.
And I'm exaggerating with 17.
Yeah. In the
but
whole
there
room.
were a bunch of writers on this show. So when Ed was trying to add me to the mix, he couldn't. You know, our director had 5 people he wanted. Katherine Heigl had a whole team of people she wanted. Like, so it was that kind of situation. He said, but listen, man, what I want to do is I want to give you a job as my writer's assistant.
Okay.
Sounds like a blessing, absolutely. Once again, God has a sense of humor. I don't type, y'all. I don't type. I peck.
Hilarious.
I can peck quickly for me, you know, when I'm writing, but I don't type. And I explained that to Ed, and this is what he says to me. We have a writer's assistant who'll take the room notes. Don't worry about that. But what I want you to do is I want you to learn how story is made.
Oh.
And I want to give you this job, and I want you to come with me when I do studio network notes.
Wow.
That's 3 people talking. Wow. Certainly, and I will tell you what to type.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I'll tell you what to capture, you know, in the notes. So it was that kind of like level of comfort
and
care coming into this very unknown and foreign space. He really was. Right. He really was. And then, so I'm doing the history, and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm a godchild or grandchild of like John Wells. Because Ed came through that camp, and then I come through Ed's camp, and then later when I worked on 7 Seconds, I learned that Vina Sood came through John Wells' camp, and once again another like mentor, and I was like, I'm 2 degrees of separation from like all of the like one of the heavies in the game. Like I felt very fortunate.
Right.
But long story short, he hires me as his writer's assistant. I meet Karen Horn while I'm working on State of Affairs. Okay. Karen says to me, David, we're getting ready to do a cop show called Shades of Blue with Jennifer Lopez. Have you heard about it? I had read about it in the trades. Right. And I said, yeah, I've heard about it. And she said, would you like to meet the creator of the show and the showrunner? I said, absolutely. So she coordinates this meeting. I meet with Adi Hassak, who created the show. Yes. He said, look, man, I don't know anything about like this cop world, this cop stuff. He was an Israeli paratrooper. Right. I was a paratrooper. So we had the Army connect in that piece, and we talked a lot about that. Jack Orman, the showrunner, sat in the back of the meeting and didn't say a word. The entire meeting. Didn't ask me one question. Like, he just listened to me and Adi just kind of talk and chop it up. And as the meeting concludes, Adi was like, well, what are you doing now? And I said, well, I'm working as a writer's assistant, over here. And he said, man, that's great. And then Jack finally said, I just finished, at SC. Jack finally asked me a question. He said, what program did you come out of at SC? And I said, I just finished the START program.
He lit up, didn't he?
Lit up. His face just lit up. And he said, I was the first guy that Larry Terman pulled off of the wait list for the START program.
Wow.
2 days later, I got a call from Karen Horn saying that they wanted to hire me to staff for Shades of Blue, and that was my first staff gig.
Beautiful story.
Yeah. From Shades of Blue, I went to Shots Fired with Reggie and Gina Byfwoods. Shout out to the Byfwoods.
Reggie and Gina.
The ultimate power couple in this game. Learned so much, working with them. God allowed me to see that the dream of the acting piece wasn't dead.
That's right. You did it.
Yeah. So there was an actor who showed up on the episode that I wrote for Reggie and Gina. We were shooting in North Carolina. This guy showed up the day we were supposed to shoot. His mouth was this big. What? He went to the dentist and they hit him with a needle and a nerve or something in his mouth, and like it just swole up. Wow. The doctor, the director turned to me and said, we have pyrotechnics today. We got this, we got that. If we don't get this today, it's probably not going to happen. It's going to cost us a lot of money. You've acted, David. Why don't you go to makeup and go and get this done? And I said, well, wait a minute, man. Listen, I don't want to do that. Reggie and Gina hired me to write. They didn't hire me to act. In fact, I had written that role for myself.
Oh, you did? Hilarious.
And asked Reggie if I could have it, and Reggie said no. Just flat out, nah, son, nah. So the director was like, he got on the phone with Reggie, and he said, look, if we don't get this today, it's gonna be a problem. I think Shanks can do it. Why don't you just let him do it? So I get on the phone with Reggie, and Reggie was like, okay, man, listen, go ahead, go to hair and makeup, get yourself changed. And he said,
the lines.
Yeah. He was like, go ahead and do your thing. Yeah. Coincidentally, Gina had flown into town that day to watch, just to kind of check up on what's going on set. So Gina shows up, and when we shot the scene, I just felt so in my element. And I just felt so comfortable in this space.
The muscle memory came right back.
It never left, bro. Yeah. I mean, I just, because again, for me, I picked up the pen to start writing to facilitate the acting. For me, that's what it was.
Storytelling too.
See, I relate to this a lot. Yeah. We talk about this a lot because I haven't acted since 2004. Yeah. And I was acting since 12 to 32 or something like that. Yeah. And I miss it. You know what I mean? And so I think a year or so ago, I did a reading for a friend of mine. I thought it was going to be like man number 2. He gave me the lead role. And I was like nervous. I was nervous as fuck doing it. But as soon as we started, I just went right into the pocket. Yeah. And they were like, wow. And his manager's like, who's that guy who played he's amazing. Yeah. And I was like, nah, I ain't no actor, dude. I'm whatever. But I keep forgetting I actually do want to do this again. So I got to start opening the door for that. You know what I mean? It was just funny.
And so when that happened, you know, for me, it was really almost kind of like I think like a wink, you know, from God, basically saying like, I haven't forgotten, man. I know where you want to be. I know what you want to do, you know, but.
And I'll still move some shit out the way for you. Just know.
But in the meantime, do what I'm telling you to do. Do what I'm calling you to do. I got you.
Right.
Just stay on this path. And what that means for me is I've given out people other opportunities. I've been in positions where I could hire people. Right. I've watched audition tapes and I've given actors opportunities to come into the space, you know what I mean, and fulfill their dreams and do their thing, right? And then not only that, I've been an integral part of people realizing, writers, creatives realizing their visions. You know what I mean? None of this comes together, and y'all know this, none of this comes together unless you got a team of people that are willing to take this thing on like it's theirs, without ego, without, you know, putting their stuff on it. You know, I take the note and I execute. You know what I mean? Like, you need people like that, willing to do that. I leave Shots Fired to do Reggie and go with Shots Fired to The Shy. So did season 2 of The Shy, and then from The Shy I had an opportunity to work with.
Shout out to Lena. We just got to give her a little shout out.
Yeah.
Little
and
sis.
Quincy and DeAndre's final
Yes, Quincy. Yeah.
Producer director.
Proud of them.
Yeah. And from there, I had an opportunity to work with Peter Moffat, and this is where it sort of got tricky for me. Peter Moffat lives in London, or close to London, a suburb of London. He had a project that was shooting at the time in New Orleans, and there was another project that he was working on that took him to New York. And now
at the same time.
At the same time.
Okay, got it.
And now here I am as a co-producer that he has hired in his writer's room, and he turns to me and says, "David Shanks, I'm not going to go to Chicago. I won't be going to Chicago." And I'm like, "Oh, right, that's what I said." I was like, "Oh, so who's going to, you know, handle the production and everything?" And he said, "You are."
David Shanks, you are going to
handle, you know, production. And literally pushed me into the deep end of the pool.
Wow.
And basically said, you know, "I believe in you, man. You'll handle it."
Because you represented him. Yeah.
And what I got from that,
they got like adjunct showrunner or some shit.
Hey, listen, you know that's exactly what happened.
You know what I mean?
And from that, you know, I was able to go from co-producer to an overall deal.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, did they give you a bump for that?
With AMC.
Yeah. Okay, good.
But I think the reason that all of that happened was because I didn't have the time to be so in my head about the imposter syndrome of it all, right? Yeah. We had COVID going on. We shot from February to November.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's a long time.
That's a long time to be on those masks.
Long
and,
cold time.
you know, all of, you know, like I saw the seasons change in Chicago on production for 61st Street.
But you got to bring wifey back for the go see family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And had dinner. And the other piece of it is my dad passed shortly after that. So just being able to be home, right? Yeah. And for him to call, "Hey man, let's go have breakfast." Yeah, because I think he knew, you know what I mean. But he was very closed mouthed about like what was going on. But hey man, let's go get breakfast. Let's go have lunch. I'm like, "Daddy, I'm working right now, man. I can't."
Come to the
you
set.
know what I mean, right? You know, just come on down, man. You know, so but I think it was that. But it was that kind of experience that really
passed young.
Yeah. He's I think I carry a little bit of that. I feel like I have a lot to do and a little bit of time to do it. Wow. And I don't know if that's morbid and bringing the show down, but just that's my reality. And I think there's like a sense of urgency to what I'm trying to do and where I want to get to.
Damn nemesis in the way.
It could also mean that you have a long life, but a lot of things to do.
A lot of things to do. Yeah, I will take that piece. Yeah. Yes.
Just may mean there's a lot of plans.
Yeah. And I want to be obedient to them. Yeah. We do. We come off of 61st Street, and I had worked with Ben.
So that
Watkins.
was 61st Street.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
That was 61st Street with Peter Moffat. Yeah, we did. So we shot 16 episodes. Which
that's
is why
you were gone
so long.
You just they broke it up.
They broke it up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, season 1 and season 2. working with Courtney B. Vance.
See, I would have loved to been on a show like that. That's a dope ass show.
And Ingenue Ellis, I want to work with her at some point so bad. I was like, we could really be sisters really easily, and I just love her.
When I tell you, these are two of the most talented,
top of the call sheet,
and the
where it
most
starts.
amazing, just spirits. My father passed. We had the funeral.
Right.
Why is Courtney B. Vance and our entire cast at the funeral?
Wow.
We all up in the church on 55th and State.
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
You know, little tiny storefront
Wow.
church. We all up in there together. And they eating chicken at the repast and peach cobbler. You know what I mean?
People can't believe they there.
Right. Can't believe they there.
Wow.
And of course, here come my ignorant cousins, right? Who gonna tell Courtney? My cousin Faye, shout out to Faye. My cousin Faye gonna tell Courtney to his face, I love your wife.
I was about to say.
And if I ever had the opportunity to holler at your wife, like I love her that much, bruh Vance. And
I'm sure it ain't the first time.
Just
I'm
laugh.
certain it ain't the first time. It ain't gonna be the last.
Laughed from the pit of his soul
Hilarious.
and took pictures and was just so gracious and so loving. And Ingenue sent flowers and came, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing this story. COVID affected her in a real way. Like she lost somebody really close during COVID, and she came to the service and parked outside because she with all of the people in the church, but she was there. You know what I mean? And just
Well, and also
to
funerals,
know,
if you're already grieving.
it was tough. It was
too
a tough
much.
space.
Yeah.
It was a tough space, But I say that to say that like that kind of love and that kind of family and that kind of support, to have Ingenue Ellis turn to me and say, David, what you want? How you want us to do this? Like, no diss to the director, but like I'm looking past you, David. What you want? How you want us to do this?
Right.
So it was that kind of love, and from that I had already worked with Ben Watkins. This dude is incredible. I mean,
I know.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I've never met anybody who is so selfless with their platform. Right. I've encountered a lot of people that are kind of like, this is mine, stay in your lane.
Right.
Like I'm that guy, back up.
Right.
That's not who this dude, is at all. And it's like, I want you to, I'm going to shine, but I want everybody on my team to shine. And I'm going to give everybody shots and opportunities. Our writer's room, Hill, as you know, is really like, I equate it to like a learning hospital or a teaching hospital. Right, we
was Twin Territories the first one you?
So no.
Which one?
Even before Twin Territories.
Oh, you did something before. That's right.
So Ben and I met on a project called Gang Leader for a Day.
That's right.
The premise of Gang Leader for a Day was based on a book. Was about an Indian student at the University of Chicago who, working on his doctorate, I believe, wanted to study the socioeconomic sort of sphere of the poverty-stricken, Black people in poverty in Chicago. And he is immersed in the world of the gangster disciples. Right. This Indian cat is literally pulled into this space with the GDs, right? Yeah. And he's with them for like 5 or 6 years. Oof. And is privy to everything.
About this based on real shit.
Based on a true story. And he's privy to everything, and he learns everything about the culture, about our people, about just, and is so what he didn't think or expect and anticipate. But long story short, AMC wanted Ben to develop the book into a television series. We wrote, I think, the first 3 episodes. There was a mini room that we had. The project didn't go, but once again, God wastes absolutely nothing. Yeah. I think the whole point of that was for Ben and I to get together and work in a room, in a space together. And we had been trying to kind of get back to each other like ever since. But I was working on this, he was working on something else. And finally, all of the stars lined up, alignment, once again, in a way that Ben had, unprecedented, 3 shows in some form of development, all at the same time. He was shooting one. He was in the writer's room.
Staffing 2.
Yeah, staffing 2 at the same time. Like, I was like, man, God is smiling on you, bro. You know, like, what's...
I remember the day he got the green light for Twin Territories and The Greatest.
Crazy.
December, like, it was like December 4th. It was like some weird day. Yeah. And all of a sudden... my life stopped. I had to read all these scripts. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So he calls me and he says, hey, Shanks, I got 3 going at the same time. I can't be in all of these spaces at one time, man. Would you come and would you work on? And before he could get it out of his mouth, I was like, man, please let me get on The Greatest. Please let me get on The Greatest. I'm a Ali. I am the love child of Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. Like, that would be me. I'm that dude, right? Please let me on this show. He's like, bro, you know, I kind of need you to help me with Twin Territories.
That's the Bass Reeves.
But Bass Reeves, right? I said, no, absolutely, man. So he pulls me into that space, and we were running Twin Territories while he was working on Cross and working on The Greatest.
Did a strike come up or something?
The strike came.
I was being
funny. When we came back from the strike, they basically pulled the plug, because I think the other Bass Reeves project was probably a little further along. Whatever. It's what it is. Yeah. But
because we can't have 2.
Hey, listen.
Do you know how many versions of that?
Like, I told you, I created a show based on the Bass Reeves.
That art heist movie. Do you know how many versions of that
same thing.
Of course.
Movie we had?
But God forbid we have more than one. 2 of them came
out in the same 2 months.
Yep. Yeah.
But we can't have 2 Bass Reeves.
But here's the piece that I think was most disappointing to me, as far as that's concerned. And this is all I'll say on it. You had Morgan Freeman, Jim Pickens, and Ben Watkins as your EPs on that show. We were going to really give you a Bass Reeves story. We were going to talk about a black man who could not read. A former that we were going to give it to you with a photographic memory, who would have a warrant read to him and be able to recall every word on it, who could take pictures in his mind of faces and remember every single detail. The Lone Ranger, that whole masked man, was stolen from one of Bass Reeves' tactics in going after outlaws. He would disguise himself and sneak up on these people. And here's the other piece. Because it was against the law at the time for a black man to put handcuffs on a white man, I'm gonna align myself with, you know, a white, you know, lawman, right, to be my front.
That Pierce?
To get us into these spaces. But he learned the indigenous languages. He made relationships and built relationships with our Native American brothers and sisters, and we were going at it from that sort of, you know, angle. So again, you know, no disrespect to any other project, but
it would have been.
There's a lot of different angles to tell a story from. But I would have liked.
The show would have been so different than what they did.
Completely
different.
Yeah, but I say all of that to say for Ben to pull me into that space, and then when Twin went away. For him to turn to me and say, hey, man, listen, I would love for you to come and join us, you know, on season 2, you know, of Cross. And then not only join us on season 2 of Cross, to trust me to go to set and shepherd this incredible team of creatives to deliver 8 episodes of television, you know, and to be there every single day, to put me in position. And I tell Ben all the time, I'm like, look, man, thank you for giving me the keys to the car, for sharing the platform with me. And it's just another prime example of, I feel like God shows it to me first. You know what I mean? Before, you know, I'm ushered into it. But so many of the lessons that I'm learning in the Blue Monday camp are going to be things that I actually, you know what I mean, you know, take with me. As
for
we
your
continue
shingle.
to build.
I told Ben, you know, I worked with him for a year right before the strike, and I was like, bro, I came out of that not realizing the importance of that executive side that I needed to know. I didn't even know. I was helping Ben.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's my dude.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that I was going to come out. And now when I'm pitching, I'm thinking like Ben. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I'm writing, I'm thinking like Ben in my own little way. And I can write my little ass off. So I was like, okay, you must have really be doing some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there were just like so many things that I came out of with all these new superpowers, if you will, that I feel like I was dope then, I'm really dope now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think anybody that's affiliated with that camp,
right?
You know what I mean? Because he sort of runs it like, now I go back to my theater stuff with this, like a repertory, theater, right? You know, we all kind of,
you got Malcolm, Charles,
exactly.
Carlito,
and to be able to have access to those kinds of cats. You know, and to and that kind of reach and that kind of, just experience, just off the cuff, like. And these are folks that, like, we've had an opportunity to, like, get to know. I think you don't really get to know somebody until you stood in a kitchen and, like, broke a chicken wing.
Yeah.
And y'all stand there and really have a real conversation. You know what I mean? You know about something. Like that's what these cats, are, and kind of like what our team has become. Right. And here we are, now. So season 2, up and running.
Yes. It's killing it right now.
Gangbusters right now. Right. And for all
did somebody write episode 103?
I might be the guilty party, for 103.
Yes, indeed.
But it's beautifully done.
Thank you. Team effort. Shout out to our entire writing team, because everybody's DNA is on every single script, and I think Ben wants it that way. Yeah. I liken the way Ben runs the camp to there was a book that we read at SC called Team of Rivals, and it's basically about how Abraham Lincoln had all of these differing voices from the Republican Party, from the Democratic Party, all on his team.
That's smart.
You know what I mean? Because he got it from every direction, and we argue every point, front, back, from so many different perspectives and from so many different, wells of life experience and good grown people, but also at the same time, there's room for younger, voices, in that mix, and in that gumbo is where the good stuff I think comes, with building story, and and everybody checks their ego at the door. There's not like, who's the number 2, or I'm the co-showrunner. Like it's none of that stuff. Like everybody just comes in and just bangs. Look, let's go. Let's go.
The best story.
Let's make the best story. Exactly.
It's very prescient. Like what this season, which I know that like everything has escalated. In our world even more. I don't want to give anything away. You guys should just watch it, but it's very like even just
the first 3 episodes are up right now. Amazon Prime. Go see that shit.
Even just the first scene was just very, very satisfying. Just like the first scene of even episode 1, I was like, I probably shouldn't be as happy about this as I am. This is very satisfying to watch right now. Just yes. And kind of showing these different complexities. I'm interested to see where it goes, because it's always like whenever we're hearing these kind of stories, it's like, okay, what kind of story are we ultimately trying to tell? What are we ultimately trying to say? So I'm like, I got to watch the season to see where we're headed about that. But I find it very, it's not just on the pulse of things. It's actually like kind of investigating and interrogating a lot of different kind of angles within the layers that we're dealing with that I just really appreciate.
It's current. In fact, we were talking before we came in. I was telling them that Alona and Johnny Ray might be coming on next week.
Oh my God!
And I love Johnny Ray with his crazy ass.
Buckle up.
I'm sure he's like Devil in the Blue Dress Mouse was like always one of my favorites. Like he's the mouse of the series to me. It's like we don't know what your ass do.
Oh my God!
But we were talking. So we did. As you know, we did an X-ray version of the show. And so So I'm hearing that it might be coming. We'll see. You
I hope
know,
it comes, because especially if once y'all watch the 3 episodes, you start to get that there's some underground shit going on that we ain't known about.
Yeah.
And I know that there's like something that got to do with some of the things with his character that got to deal with some of this shit. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know, Amazon. I want to know.
Yeah. The beautiful thing about a project like this, and I think I'm just keeping it completely 100 with y'all, just as a black man in the space, to write a character or write on a show that explores the humanity of a real brotherhood, right? We say jokingly, but really serious, that the romantic relationship, not romantic, but the love story in our show is between Cross and Samson. It's an exploration of
Mustafa.
It's an exploration of what brotherhood is supposed to look like.
Right.
We're supposed to hold each other
It's supposed to have push and pull.
It's push and pull, exactly. We should be able to fight and express ourselves, right, in a way that really holds each other accountable, one another accountable for
and
our
we hold
actions.
secrets from each other.
And we hold secrets,
Yes,
exactly. And it's really about just all of the layers and the nuances in a relationship. To be able to look to a man and say, I love you, and you're my brother, and I'm here for you, right? One of my favorite scenes last season, right? There were 2 lines. Cross says, you want to talk?
Right.
And it wasn't even another line. Samson says, no. And then Cross says, I love you. Like Samson shakes his head, no. Cross says, I love you. And they, cheers, dap with the drinks, and they have a brew, and he sits with him in the silence of it. We ain't got to say nothing, but you're here.
Right.
He's there.
That's the nuance.
And that's the nuance, but that's so much of what you just don't see.
For sure.
In television.
Yeah,
I think you don't see that.
With Cross, there's a lot of that word nuance is
Yeah.
a thing, because, and I have and I love, like, I watch I was raised watching like the Law and Orders and the different things, even though I'm gonna say this for the other folks, this thing, the propaganda is like a thing. Like there's a thing, like propaganda and the problematic things of it, and like how it's been navigated in television for many.
That book
many
is
decades.
amazing, by the way.
Oh, I haven't read it.
Yeah. Check it out. Yeah, propaganda.
But I mean, the reality is like there's a reason why police officers are depicted a certain way in media that is vastly different than how police departments often show up. It doesn't show the intricacies, right? And hasn't for many years, which is why you get people pushing back so much.
Yeah.
What I can appreciate about Cross is that you guys actually dig into some of that stuff in interesting ways that other shows don't bother with.
Yeah.
And also show the humanity, but also people beginning to take some of the responsibility for problematic things. And even in some ways, because I'll be up there sometimes like, I don't know if you needed to like turn in, I don't know if you needed to make that call. I mean, did you need to make that call?
Right.
Like, I'm the person that's still sitting there like, I'm not sure. But I also do have an appreciation for like, but if you've taken up this mantle, what you should be expecting is a different level of integrity.
Yeah.
That's not what usually happens when you have power within systems of all of our systems, like between the patriarchy, the capitalism, the racism, all of it. Yeah. You don't have integrity in those systems of policing because they started as slave captors.
Absolutely.
However, that we begin to have those conversations and actually, at least if there's somebody that's like, I'm holding this standard of care around this idea, even though like we see in reality, like the reasons why it don't always work out that way and the reasons why stuff be going to the left, but in a way that's just not blue and white.
Right. For sure. Right. Exactly. It's just an amazing ride and an incredible team.
You guys already started 3? Can you say?
Yeah. We're deep into 3 now. Fingers crossed that everything goes well and we can move forward. But we're gearing up for production on season 3.
That's what's up.
And just excited and really, really hopeful. And I think that we're going to continue to raise the bar and push the envelope on a lot of necessary conversations that should happen. Right. Just in the space. And it's just it's a nod to the culture. It's a nod to the marginalized. It's a nod to people in spaces that there's one expectation, but then the reality of what it is and who these people are in these spaces and how we show up is something completely different. And we're looking to like I said, kick a lot of stereotypes, down. Alex Cross, is the perfect vehicle. And shout out to Aldous Hodge for
Aldous is wonderful.
The beast of the dude that he is. He's even a more as amazing of an actor he is. He's equally an amazing human being. That's the piece that really resonates with me. Like there's a soulfulness and a spirit about Aldous that's infectious. He's another number one that you want to have at the top of the call sheet.
And he's a producer.
And he's an EP on the show, absolutely. Yeah. And everything sort of trickles down, from it starts at the top, I think, with everything.
Blooms
and
Ben
and
head.
like I said, absolutely. And everybody sort of takes their marching orders from that. Right. And I think it's also something to see, going back to Ben, and Aldous, for just a second. Two black men in positions like this, because it's such a rarity, in our industry.
Ben's building an empire over there right
absolutely,
now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And no secret, right?
No.
And makes it no secret, right? It's about, like, okay, how can we expand this? My prayer for Ben is infrastructure. Okay. The infrastructure to come, the pieces to come to facilitate the growth.
Gotcha.
Right? If he can, if the team can expand with not just bodies, but people with very specific giftings and talents and skill sets that will free him up to do, other things. Sure. I can trust that this is going to be handled. Right. And that allows me now the opportunity to go out and hunt for more. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because I think you're probably, that I could think of, you're probably the first one he sent to go do the whole season of.
Hey, man, listen, I'll take it.
Usually people go do maybe 2 or 3, like a block or 2.
Yeah.
But
I would imagine that's a hard thing to do as someone who...
I mean you got to show up. You got to show your face. But that's a big thing.
When you pulled it together so much on your own from like that scrappiness, like being able to delegate. I remember there's like a...
That's trust, though.
It's very much so trust. There's this, I think it was an interview with maybe Shonda Rhimes, and she was talking about like how over the years she didn't, when she first started, she wasn't doing delegation. She like needed to have everything. Like I remember the first time I did one of the Shondaland shows, and I was like, she like had to approve. I was a guest star, but she approved like my outfit. Like they took me in, they took pictures, they sent it. Like she was literally down to the buttons and to my cardigan, approving each person's thing. Yeah. And then I heard this interview years later, and she's like, you need to learn to delegate. She's like, if somebody can do it 40% as well as you, and she said the first time to her was like, what? She said, if they can do it 40% as well as you, if it is not something that only you can do, if they can do it 40% as well, let them do it. Right. Yeah. So that you can put all of your focus on the things that only you can do. Yeah. And I think that that's something that, as most of us as people of the global majority who were raised in this place, who are not allowed often to be in those positions, there's a fear of letting the ball drop, because there's so much of a thing of like, if I drop it, then they blame everybody. If I drop it, it'll take longer and harder. The stakes are high.
The stakes are high.
Harder for me to get back to the top of something, which I think we have more momentum now than we used to. So I don't think everything will go away as quickly as it used to. But I still think the fear that it will go away as quickly as it used to is still there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
I spoke to our room very early on this season. And one of the things I said was that it is incumbent upon us to make certain that this succeeds. We have to all show up every single day with that one single intention that we will not allow this brother to fall down. And because when we do that, we're negating that whole conversation of you can't handle it. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's too big of a responsibility. It's too much pressure. It's this, it's that. We have to tear that down. Right. And in order to do that, we all have to show up every single day, roll the sleeves up, leave the ego at the door, and bang, like every single day. And certainly it's going to be hard. And certainly there are going to be places and spaces where, all of us are, somebody will fall down, but we have to be there to pick each other up and keep moving the ball forward as a team, as a unit. And once you get everybody to buy into that, I think the sky is the limit, because we're all, kind of pushing for the same thing. And to be able to get some message on Instagram or open up, you know, the trades and see that you've got the number one show, the number one streaming show in the country. And then shortly after that, the globe, the planet, like that, it's just reaffirming. You know what I mean? It basically solidifies all of the work and the effort and why you're doing what you're doing.
Season 1, if I remember right, season 1 came out, I want to say November 11th, 14th, or something like that.
Yeah.
By the end of December, it was already 40 million people had seen the show.
I think it was 40 million in like 20 days.
That's right. It was quick.
40 million people in 20
I feel
days.
like it was marketed even more for the first season, because second season, I didn't realize at first that it started. So I'm putting this out to all the audience who's listening. Watch the show and start posting about it, because this is the thing. It's very good. First season was very good too. I think that there was more amplification in places, and I wondered when I saw the subject matter, I was like, is that why folks are not marketing this as much? But that's why you should be marketing this as much, because there's so many people that are hungry for some sort of feeling of some kind of accountability that we're not getting in the world. Like, it at least is something that we can get some part of that satisfaction from watching things. That's a part of how sometimes storytelling helps us in cathartic ways to do some of that. That first season in particular showed me, like, with the marketing, because it was before even like most people had seen it yet and been able to talk about it.
Before people got up on it,
if you market and show people our things the same way you do all the rest of the things that you expect to be big, they globally are big. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there is a global hunger for our stories. We are the people of the global majority. There are more of us globally. And now that, like, we've got streaming service and stuff, our work actually reaches places where there's more people. Like, it's not just on like the small screen and it only goes into certain living rooms, and it's not geo-locked all the time. It's somewhat geo-locked for some things, but for the most part, especially Amazon is very global. There is an audience for all of it that's super hungry, actually, especially for this kind of story, and especially this season, y'all. Y'all should really, if you haven't checked it out yet, like, for real, like, start watching.
For sure.
Janine Mason, who plays our villain this season, is just a phenomenal.
She's kind of a hero so far.
Oh no, absolutely.
I mean, I know it may turn into a hot mess, but she's just kind of a badass. She's like the equivalent of a badass comic book superhero, and I'm not.
Okay, y'all turned up Alona too, big time.
I'm not.
Listen, you know,
I'm not mad.
Yeah, the women are definitely holding us down.
And there's more sexy in it this season.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we're stepping into some spaces, and you see, you know, the show, you know, really finding a stride and a nice, you know, groove. And what I love about, you know, like I said, just the process going back to, you know, Ben and the vision. He's not afraid to step into the uncomfortable spaces, right? And the controversial spaces, right? And to talk about the things that are happening that are affecting people right now. This season is going to be special, you know, in my opinion, you know, for a myriad of reasons.
Yeah.
That's what's up. What's next for you outside of, are you doing anything outside of it you could talk about?
I got a couple of irons in the fire.
Okay.
I want to keep them close to the vest.
Okay.
I speak things, you know, into existence, and I'll put it this way. You know, I know that there's greater, you know, for me, you know, still.
We're going to work on something, goddammit.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I got to send you a sample of something.
So invite me to play.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I just appreciate you, you know, for sharing the platform, you know, Hill. I don't take stuff like this for granted. You know, like I said, this is an important space. And you give writers an opportunity to come and to share stories. I've drawn inspiration from some of the folks, you know, that, you know, have sat, you know, in this place.
That's what's up.
And, you know, those days where it's like, you know, oh my God, this is just beating me down, you know. But, you know, like I said, you tune in, you get a nugget, you know, you get something you can hang on to that moves you to the next, you know, thing, you know. So.
Well, I was a big advocate right there behind Ben, echoing we should bring David in. So you mean, believe me, I was there. You know what I mean? So I'm super glad it all worked out. And you're still there. You still got it going on.
Yeah.
You know, I knew you guys had that type of synergy. I know he was trying to figure out how to make it work, and he did. Yeah. And I'm so glad it did, because he was like, "There's only one dude I want." You know what I mean? I was like, "Okay, I knew it. I knew it."
I still appreciate you sharing your story so vulnerably too, because the thing is, like, it's a part of what I've enjoyed about listening to this podcast. Now is I'm kind of like hungry in collecting people's journeys because like a lot of times you just hear them once they get to the part where they've gotten a lot of focus and attention. Yeah. But you don't hear those ups and downs or those moments where somebody was afraid or thought they'd made the wrong choice or they made a big leap and then it feels like, oh shit, was this the wrong?
That's the journey as you
missing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we all have those moments, you know, in our stillness and in our quiet where even if we're very firmly like I'm very spirit led.
Yes.
And there's times where I can feel very like viscerally like, oh no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, I may not know the why, and I may be looking around, and other people may be looking around. Sorry, Mom, you've had to. Like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But like, hearing the story of someone who's gotten to the other side of that moment, and hearing that they were in that same space, sometimes gives at least the breathing room to be like, okay, I may not understand this moment. Yeah. But there's somebody else who's been in their version of this moment. Yeah. And they've gotten to the other side. Yeah. And it has blossomed something else that they couldn't imagine. Yeah.
And he still did it being himself.
Yes.
He didn't have to change. He didn't have to become an asshole. He wasn't not calling you back. He wasn't playing all the games. Yeah. You stayed true to yourself and the shit still works. That's what I like.
There's another piece to it, though, guys. It's not. I don't think that there's like this this plateau that you reach, or like this summit. I'm sorry that you reach. Sure. Like I think when you get to like a certain level, I know I know my name. There's another desert, ahead of me somewhere. This is a good season, that we're in. But I'd be foolish to think that it's all gonna be gravy. You know what I mean? From this way, out. I think. What I've been able to hang on to is that God has seen me through those barren times and those seasons where it's nothing and it's like it's silence, and it forces me to try to figure out, what am I supposed to get? What do I need to learn? Yeah. How do I need to grow and stretch in this quiet season that's preparing me for the next? Right. And then when the next comes, and then if it's a great season, I'm grateful for that and I'm thankful for that. But I'm learning to become thankful for the in-between seasons, as well. Okay. There was a point in time, man, where I was waiting on a job and I passed up 2 jobs because I thought this job, the job I wanted was coming, right? Yeah. And then it didn't come. Yeah. Yeah. And then there was like a 10, 11 month period where there was nothing. Wow. And then, I got the beautiful wife at home looking at me like, what are we doing? Yeah. Uber is looking real attractive right now. Nothing wrong with any of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like, okay, what are you going to do in the meantime to keep this thing moving forward? You got a family to sustain. You got responsibilities and obligations. And I think in those moments, like I said, it just forces you to really lean into and to trust. And I go back to the question all the time. God, I know you didn't just bring me out here to drop me off. I know you didn't just show me this piece of it to leave me here. I know that there's more.
With the Clark sisters, remember that? Is my living in vain? Yeah. I think that all the time.
Yeah.
No, of course not. Right?
No. And there's always an ebb and flow. And I can't say I'm always the best at this. Me and my therapist talk about this, about like.
Shout out to the therapist.
Honey, yes, God. The moments of gestation. Okay, yeah. So like the moments of gestation, like, and my therapist at one point was like, how did you feel when you were pregnant? And I actually loved being pregnant. Like I really enjoyed it, right? Yeah. And it was like, if I can find ways to connect into that growing time in the quiet moments, like it's the pregnancy and the growing of something that I know is going to come forth, it gives a different energy to it. Absolutely. And I think that those what we call the barren seasons aren't necessarily barren. There may be a field laying fallow to get its nourishment, or there's something growing inside that we just can't see the outside yet.
Yeah. That's it.
Where can people follow you?
I am Dalila Ali Raja on everything. DALILAALIRAJAH. All the things. All the things.
Thank you. Appreciate you sitting with me.
Well, and Black Queer Joy. That as well. I'm the founder of the Black Queer Joy movement. So also at Black Queer Joy on Instagram.
Which is big. So yeah, indeed. Yeah. And thank you again, my man.
Hey, listen, it's a pleasure, and thank you, Hill, really for inviting me out, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I got the text and was like, oh, but couldn't get back right away. I was like, man, I got to hit my man. But just the ripping and running of it all. But really, man, thank you for sharing the platform and giving me the space.
I appreciate it. I always think things happen when they're supposed to happen, because we talked about doing this a couple of years ago. Yeah. I think the timing actually worked out fine for what's happening right now. You know, Cross just came out a week ago, so it's like everything is like jumping. So it's all good. It's all good. Where can people follow you?
J David Shanks _. On Instagram.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And what's your shingle? You said your shingle. Do you?
93rd Street University.
That's your company.
Yeah, that's my company.
All right,
yeah. So you'll see some stuff. Soon. Yeah. 93rd Street is where I grew up. Okay. And I actually grew up on the street University. So
that's funny.
The double entendre of my education and the actual street that I came up on. So yeah.
It's funny because I've been thinking about. I mean, I like my Hill Dog Productions because it's just my nickname since I was a kid. Yeah. But I love. I've been thinking about changing it to Biber Avenue, which is the street in the hood where I grew up. Just because that's like that's me as a kid, like me growing up now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So interesting. Well, thank y'all. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
I'm your host, Hilliard Guest. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram. I still say Twitter like I'm grown. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything at Hilliard Guest. Please go on screenwritersrantroom.com. We have resources page. We have archives, everything about me, things that I love, things that I support. We have T-shirts, we have hoodies, all kind of. You see that? All kind of colors for y'all. Make sure you guys go out, support the show, support us, and we'll support you back. All right. A new YouTube page. Make sure you. I always call it a page. It's a channel, right?
It's a channel that has a page.
Okay.
Because you have to get to the channel somehow.
Shut up. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. And guess what, guys? We are now open for sponsorships.
Outstanding.
So hit us up, all you sponsors, all you guys with some cool, products, things you guys want us to blast it out there. Hit a brother up. Screenwritersrantroom@gmail.com. All right. With that, everybody, join with me for Game All Day. Okay. Thank you again, David J. David Shanks. About to get J. David.
You're mixing everybody's name. It's emerging.
Mr. D in the building. Delila, of course. I see you got Mama in the building. Thank you for sticking with us. And of course, my man Joshua on the ones and twos. I call the camera the ones and twos like I'm cool like that.
As you should.
Yes, indeed. Everybody joining us with Game All Day. You guys know how we do it on the Rant Room. On the show, we keep it real. We keep it opinionated. We keep it what, everybody?
Game all day.
Peace, y'all.